What's up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marv, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show on YouTube. Well, not really.
No, you're not the only call-in show.
What, Dex? I was kind of weirded out there because Dex was supposed to say something. You're not Dex. Who are you?
No, Dex got a little too close. We had to take him fishing. He might be swimming for a long time.
So who?
I just wanted to make sure you know you're not the only call-in show.
Oh, so you invaded my show just to tell me that I'm not the only one. Okay, got it. And who are you?
Well, I'm going to be your representative of the science of weather tonight.
Wow, okay. Well, we will be right back with your news and weather this time with Mike Morales. Well, that went well. All right. If you've never been here before, it usually runs a little bit smoother than that. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mike Morales. We're going to get over to him here in a second. But again, we're going to cover today's news, and we are going to be taking calls here in a bit at 224-400-MARF. So I wanted to show you guys a few things before we start. We're going to get into some really crazy things. We've got Mike Morales here to kind of give his commentary on some of the news. Some of his people might be over here. His people are very loyal, incredibly awesome people. We get emails. Let me just tell you this much. Out of all the YouTubers, no matter what size they are, and I'm telling you, there are, it's kind of a pattern. When you do a YouTube channel like this, you get a lot of emails. People basically tell you, hey, you got to check out this video. You got to see this video. I get more emails on Mike Morales videos than I do any other YouTuber, regardless of size. I mean, there's creators in our niche, even as big as Mark Dice at, 1.4 million, and we don't get as many emails as we get on Mike Morales. When somebody tells me, what I need to learn, they always say, you need to watch Mike Morales. So, Mike Morales, I wanted to do a quick sound check on you. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. I'm here sitting back, holding the helm down.
Awesome. So I'm going to tell people how they can kind of reach the links that we're going to be going over tonight, and then I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to go into some articles. I'll kind of read the basic thing, and then I'll ask you for feedback, and then I wanted you to show us kind of the stuff that you do and some of the articles that you pulled up, which I think are incredibly interesting. If you guys have never seen Mike Morales, his kind of specialty is he points out and it kind of exposes the governments and different ways they are modifying things up there. So, let's see here. So I wanted to get over to this. If you guys want to see any of the links that we show tonight, we're going to be very meticulous about posting the links. Now, we have some regular news. If we don't hit it all, it will actually be on the website. I'll just full screen this here for you. If you go to marfooglenews.com, what you will see is this thumbnail. And when you go click that, you will actually see down below, it says Whiplash with Mike Morales. And down below, you'll see each and every link that we go over today, including some that we might not actually be able to hit. You can actually watch live here. If you're watching this a month from now, you can actually go back and see where we got our information. We don't say anything, usually we don't say anything without backing it up with some sort of hard or solid evidence. Now it says climate whiplash up here. We're going to add some of the other links here. If you guys want to follow along on a second device, you can go to weathergenerator.net, Climate Global, or some of these Miles Research on Twitter. Those are the ones we're going to be covering with Mike. Mike, I wanted to go over a couple of articles here, and then Dex. Dex, are you there? Can we all hear Dex?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle Fam.
All right, cool. So if you just joined us, we got Mike Morales and Dex here, and we're going to go over weather topics because it's most definitely incredibly important. Okay, so this one actually Mike said that he knows plenty about, and he can explain why, or at least in his opinion. This story says new satellite measurements show how polluted Los Angeles air really is. And it says scientists who scan the skies above dozens of U.S. cities have made a surprising discovery about the smog that's suspended over Los Angeles. One of its key ingredients isn't disappearing as fast as it once did. The finding may explain why the once steady improvements in air quality have come close to stalling out here, even though nitrogen oxide emissions have continued to decline. It also suggests that particular chemistry of LA's air may complicate future cleanup efforts. And it says, quote here, that's certainly part of why we're in a moment in Los Angeles where it's harder to get the air cleaner, said Ronald Cohen, an atmospheric chemist at UC Berkeley, who reported the findings in the journal Science. Now, Mike, what do you think about this as far as the nitrogen oxide emissions are continue to decline, but they still have this horrible pollution?
Well, yeah, and what they're not telling you is the aluminum elements, the strontium elements, and the titanium are off the charts. I mean, I've had hundreds of people send me soil samples, rain samples, and the elevated levels, and then also the biggest factor of the pollution, especially this year over the last few weeks, is there's been some operations out off the coast from cargo vessels, and the emissions coming off these things cars worth of emissions in just one day. Now we have a fleet of at least 50 to 75 ships out there that are just mucking the sky up. Now they call it accidental sky engineering or cloud brightening or cloud whitening. But what it is actually an enhancement to do what they so-called say is the cooling effect, but it actually is trapping the heat up in the Arctic. They've been trying to melt the Arctic for over 100 years. I mean, we could get into that a lot deeper, but just, you know, they're just not telling you what's actually causing the pollution. It's not cloud inversion. It's nothing like that. It's what they're emitting out off the coast. And people that watch my show, I show when the operations are out there. There's also an operation called Pandora Fog done by the militaries, and that produce man-made carbon fiber clouds. So basically, they're creating a cloud deck that is like a temporary cool down, but in return, it actually heats the area up because it's like putting a blanket on over the sky, and it's actually trapping heat in. And then at nighttime, instead of the heat releasing, it's keeping the heat over the Arctic so they can get to the resources and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Now you said
back to you, Marv.
Back to you. Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, Bob. So you said, did you say Pandora Fog? Is that? I've never heard of that. I apologize.
Yeah, it's called Pandora Fog. You should be able to search that on the Google. I should have brought that up for you. I play the clip all the time, and it's a military news clip where they come out, and back in June, they deployed what's called carbon fiber clouds, and it shows the clouds coming out, and they say that they're made to block incoming missiles. Well, there's no missiles coming in, so why are they deploying it? It's for something else. It's for the cloud brightening, the cloud whitening, and they call it accidental geoengineering. Is what they call it.
And it looks like, so wait. Is it now what they say it is, what they claim it is kind of like what helicopters do, where they deploy the phosphorus or whatever it is to distract the missiles. Is that what they're saying that this is for the ships? Or are you saying it's supposed to hide the ship or something?
It's supposed to hide the ship from the incoming missiles. But I mean, it looks just like the bunker fuel or ship tracks, which anybody can Google that and see what that is. You know, these cargo ships and the big ocean liners, they run different types of fuel. Like if they're up against the coast, they're going to run a cleaner fuel. But when they're out off the coast and they have the weather plan, then they're going to be using what's called bunker fuel. Now, this stuff is super thick. It's like the leftovers of refining gas and diesel. And actually, it's so thick and nasty that I actually have to heat it up to get it to run through the lines. But then it just puts off this giant flume that turns into fog and lifts, and it's just a mess out there. Like I said, our daily shows, we cover that. Now, there was a big operation out there, and we always see these big operations before big weather changes. We see them before big fire events. We see them before hurricanes, cyclones. So it's definitely part of the weather plan.
Now, when you say, now we've been talking about this for over, a year and a half now, is how some of these events, drills, different things like this, always coincide with big events. So you're kind of watching the other end of it on the weather events. So do you ever see very obvious things happen, like they say, oh, we're going to test this, and then all of a sudden you see a huge event happen, right where it's being tested?
Yeah, all the time, especially with the earthquake stuff. I cover that and all that stuff too. And then, it's usually a few months later. It could be a year later. But yeah, we definitely document all that stuff. Just offhand, I can't really think of anything right now. But yeah, I mean, we cover all that stuff too. It's out there for sure.
Now, everybody is saying that we're buffering really bad. I kind of expected this. We made sure, we tried to do a lot to make this run smoothly. As you guys, most of you know, we can't do anything about that. As far as from our end, it says that it did skip frames, that it's getting back on track. Some of you, what is going on with this? Jeez. Sorry about that, guys. Let me just do this so that doesn't... I knew today's show would not go without no problems, just because of what they have been doing lately and what I said on Twitter and some other places. There we go. So as far as, everything going on, Mike, a lot of people look to you for this stuff because you are so attentive and you look at a lot of these subjects. What do you think their main plan is for all of this? Like for the entire world, what do you think they're trying to cover? Some people say they're putting those clouds up in the sky to stop you from seeing, Nibiru. Some people say that they're trying to block out harmful rays, and it's getting so bad that, some people even say that they're trying to fix what we screwed up back when we had, harmful aerosols or whatever, back in the day. What do you think it's all really for?
Well, and before I go into that, Marf, you might want to turn your video off on the Skype. That's probably what's buffering it. But yeah, I mean, all you got to do is look right to the Georgia Guidestones. I mean, that's what it's all about right there. They've had this plan. They've had this plan for years and years and years. They know about the GSM, Grand Solar Minimum, and they use that along with the weather modifications to create chaos. The climate is all engineered. After my research, at first I thought it was just small stuff going on, but after you dig into it, and then you find out all the governments, then you find out all the private contractors, you find out that they're all in on it. They're all in on it. And I mean, you'll see with just a couple of them links that we'll go over here in a little bit, how that's really going on.
Okay, so I'm going to hit another article. This is called Climate Whiplash. It says, Wild swings in extreme weather are on the rise. It says from 2011 to 2016, California experienced 5 years of extreme drought, during which numerous high temperature records were broken. These hot, dry years were followed by the extremely wet winter of 2016 and 2017, when from October to March, an average of 31 inches of rain fell across the state, the second highest winter rainfall on record. All that rain meant a bumper crop of grasses and other vegetation, which, as hot and dry conditions returned, likely contributed to a combustible mix of fuels that played a role in the severe fires that have swept California in the past 2 years. So, I'm going to read this next sentence. These wild swings from one weather extreme to another are symptomatic of a phenomenon variously known as, quote, climate whiplash or weather whiplash that scientists say is likely to increase as the world warms. The intensity of wildfires these days in places like California are a symptom of climate change. It says, but the whiplash effect poses a different set of problems for humans and natural systems. What do you think about that statement? Climate whiplash, about how it getting worse. What do you think about that, Mike?
Well, for one thing, they always go back and the records are skewed. They don't use a long enough amount of records, and you can take out the climate change and change that to climate control. When you look at all the fire stuff that's going on, everything's been there's been accelerants that have been dropping out of the sky on all these different areas. And when we get into some of the companies, look, man's been steering the rivers on Earth since, they've been on Earth. Now, what's been going on since the early 90s is they learned how to steer the rivers in the sky up in the troposphere. It's called the atmospheric river. It's up in the troposphere. And they can steer this atmospheric river several ways. But what happens when you have one country that is steering this atmospheric river, the whiplash is it's screwing up the river on the other side because it all works in conjunction. And when they're talking whiplash, they know that when they're droughting, say they're going to start a war, they're going to drought that company out or that country out. Well, while they're droughting that company out, or a country out, some other country is getting flooded. It's because it's taking everything out of balance. And then you add on all the particulates that burn really hot, and you got yourself your answer right there.
Now, somebody said, I think a lot of people misunderstand. I think that I think that when there's so many arguments and so many debates around the whole climate change, thing. What do you think about cosmic rays affecting the Earth and changing things?
Well, it's a big factor. I mean, space weather is a huge factor. The sun cycles are a huge factor. But see, they know this, and they know. When they started out with the global warming, it was right when we were starting to go into the solar minimum. Now they knew it was going to get cold, so now they're trying to push all this climate crisis, trying to push the global warming. It wasn't working because we're starting to cool down. If you take a look at all the volcanoes that went off this year, if you take a look at all the fires that went off this year, and then you factor in the bunker fuel ships, you factor in the aerosols, and then you factor in the solar minimum, we're looking at, ice age scenario. And they know that. But they want the New World Order. They want the population down. I mean, it's all wrote right on the Georgia Guidestones. It's not there for anything but to let you know that's what they're going to do. That's the plan. That's the plan that they've had, just like melting the Arctic. There's documents. They've been trying to melt the Arctic for over 100 years. They're wanting to get to the resources. They're putting an underground high-speed railway in underneath the Bering Strait that'll be going 5 miles underground in Alaska, and then it's going to pop up 5 miles above underground and then up into Russia. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. It's all just, it's the light side versus the dark side, the New World Order. You've seen tons of presidents talking about the New World Order. You've seen, what the Pope has been saying. I mean, it's all going to their plan. I mean, they're just using this to pretty much just create. It's all created. The Earth has always been changing throughout history. It's going to continue to change. If take, back on 9, what? When all the aircraft were grounded for that several, weeks or whatever it was, now it did heat up during the day, but since there was no aircraft in there, at nighttime, all that heat was able to lift out and go away. See, now what we're seeing, the aerosols are way worse now. In fact, the NASA site, the chemtrail sniffer, or the plane sniffer trail plane, they talked about how it's the emissions that you're seeing this week, this month, are worse than all the emissions throughout history up to today. That's how bad it is today. And then they want to blame that on the climate crisis, but it's actually all climate control. I mean, that's all it is.
So your view is that they are 100% in control. Some people's view is that that warming is a hoax. That change has always been around, right? But for the people that do believe that, hey,
Exactly.
This has been around forever, right? That still doesn't take us out of danger, right? I mean, you're talking about if the world has changed. So say it's not because of our own actions, just hypothetically, and we have to say this for everything on this show because these, the powers that be, just say hypothetically, it's not because of the cows, it's not because of the gas, it's not because of the cars, and it's just natural, completely natural. That still means that it could get to the point where humans can't live on the planet, right?
I don't think so. I mean, everything, that's getting into religious type stuff, but everything finds a way to live. You can't kill everything. It always finds a way to survive.
Well,
and,
humans,
if you want,
we have the technology
really,
now, maybe, but if this happened 100 years ago, or if what they say would happen, right? Say it's negative 45 degrees and it's an ice age. How we could survive with technology, with build buildings, but I'm saying, what if it was 100 years ago when they couldn't do that? We would all die off, right?
No, I don't think so. But like, if I tell you what, if you really wanted to do something about the man-made climate change, you would have to ground all aircraft, all ships, and the Earth would heal itself. I mean, instantly. I mean, we've seen it back in 2011. So, that kind of stuff, they're just using this to push their narrative. And I mean, that's the perfect, little short-term example of how the Earth is always changing. It's always going to change no matter what. No matter what the humans do. We were told to breed. We were told to, live off the land, live off the earth. But what we're seeing now is the exact opposite. They want to depopulate. They're going against what we're supposed to be doing. The Earth is not overpopulated. I mean, it's not.
Okay, I've got a couple. There's probably a couple questions I could even. I'm gonna pause my side of the chat to get that question in here in a second. Okay, I'm gonna pull up. This article is about Venice. Now I'm gonna read this real quick, and then I'm gonna get your opinion on it. Venice was on alert for more floods and fierce winds on Saturday after an exceptionally high tide swamped the city of canals, where authorities have declared a state of emergency. Mayor Luigi Brugnaro ordered the iconic St. Mark's Square closed on Friday as the latest sea surge struck with strong storms and winds battering the region. The square was open again on Saturday, but the city forecast of high water of 160 centimeters, or over 5 feet, for Sunday, and lower than Tuesday's high of 187 centimeters, but still dangerous. It says civil protection authorities downgraded a weather red alert for the Venice region to orange, with Saturday's midday high forecast to be a manageable 105 centimeters. Now it says, we've destroyed Venice. We're talking about 1 billion euros in damage, Brugnaro said. So this is a very historic place, and it just got totally flooded, second highest level in history, and they say that it's coming back for one more time. What now? You said you might have an explanation for why this is happening to Venice.
Right. And first off, since this is not the worst, this is the second worst.
Yeah.
That tell you it's happened before, and when it happened before, it wasn't because of all the cars or anything like that. But the reason why this is happening is because the bunker fuel ships that were over in the Pacific, they just turned off and they ended up over in the Atlantic. A week before this flooding started happening, then we seen the aerosols pick up. If you just watch weather radar maps and you put it on the Cirrus map layer, you can see every single storm out ahead of this storm. They are cloud seeding before every single storm worldwide. And it goes on. And that's how I can forecast 2 weeks out and be completely accurate just by going on what I'm seeing. I really don't even need radar. I can tell you what's going to happen just by watching what they're doing in the skies. I mean, it's pretty, it's like clockwork. We know where they're going to get flooded. Same thing down in Australia. Bunker fuel operations started down there and they got flooded just a couple days later. I mean, it happens every single time.
Now, a lot of people will email me and say that you've actually predicted quite a few big events and you had proof on your channel for it. Is that something that people know you for?
Yeah, I mean, like every Sunday I do a 16-day forecast, and I don't know that since I've started it, I've ever been wrong. The local meteorologists, here's how it goes. Raytheon has built all these radar maps. They've built all the weather modeling, and they actually have a weather plan. Now that goes out to the National Weather Service. Then the National Weather Service makes their little sticky notes, and then they send it off to your local meteorologist. They're just reading a script. The script is pre-planned, and we know what the plan is just by watching the future radars. And then what we do is we factor in the weather engineering as it comes. It's just like clockwork. It's like so easy, and we can see when they're heating like the ionosphere up. We can see the compression events. We know that's going to push out the jet stream winds. I mean, after you do it for so long, you can just see what's happening. And it's I get really frustrated with these meteorologists because, they can't even forecast one day. It's just ridiculous.
I know. It's completely opposite the next day. Oh, it's going to be somewhat cloudy, and then it ends up being a horrible storm. So I have a question from the audience, and this is actually kind of hinging off of what you just said. And I don't know what this question exactly means. It says, at Marfoogle TV from THC Jack, says, ask him if the jet stream would come back. Does that mean something to you? I know the jet stream, but why? What does he mean by would come back? Ask him if the jet stream would come back.
What we're seeing and what we'll see this winter time is up in the stratosphere, you have the polar vortex there, and what happens is they can do this ionospheric heating. And it's not just with, everybody talks about HAARP, but there's hundreds of ionospheric heaters out. And they also have space-based weapons. That's the most powerful. But what they do is they can heat an area. Right now they're heating in the Antarctic. They're trying to blow all the polar vortex winds up to the north. And once they get that up there, then you'll start seeing little heating events coming from certain areas, and you'll actually see them push these polar cold air that's way up in the stratosphere, and they can push them around and park them over areas. I mean, we documented this last year when we had the big polar vortex plunge. We actually seen them heat it from the Russia-China area. They pushed this cold area, and it went past the United States and got over into Europe. So they heated it from the other side and pushed it back over the United States, and they parked it there for over a month. And that's how they're changing the jet streams. The jet streams are being changed by the satellite weapons, and then you just have tons of ionospheric heaters all over the place. I mean, they're everywhere, and then you got ground-based. It's just crazy what's going on.
Okay, and then, but since we're on that subject, and you're talking about ionic heaters, let's have Dex pull up the website. Which one is the one that we want to go to for that? Is that the weather generator? Is that correct?
No, but we could. I think he just got the thumbnail for that.
Okay, so
that could be something we could always try to screen share later. I mean, we could go into the weather generator page if you want, because that explains a lot of stuff that's going on right now.
Okay, let me actually close some of these. I want to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure that everything we possibly can to stop it from
And Adam, I have
buffering.
those loaded in the screener if you
I
need
saw
them. And
that.
if not, I can give you another format.
Oh no, that's fine. Thank you, Dex. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. Oh. Okay, so this is the weather generator website. I've got it pulled up. I'm on the home screen. So explain this.
Okay. So this company is out of the United Arab Emirates. Now, they've been controlling their weather since 1995, actually a little bit before that. They control the weather over in the Middle East. This is just one of several companies. And, you know, what all these companies do that are using electromagnetics and other kinds of technologies, you know, they say we don't create the clouds, we enhance them. But if you just go down and scroll down to their articles from 7 days ago, Project Green Desert in the Middle East, on the 11th, 10/11/2019, November rains as we switched on the weather generator to rain enhancement mode. Now, they document all the weather engineering that they do. If you go down to November 3rd, the cyclones, Kayar, and Mayhav are absolutely destroyed. They use their weather modification technology to kill out the cyclones. And I mean, I document this. This is how I learned a lot of this. I got into these maps. I found all these private companies. I found the governments, UN companies that are doing these cloud experiments with these technologies. And then I watched the clouds, and that's how I learned what to look for. And you just follow all these companies that are doing it. I mean, they admit to it. They admit that they want to turn the desert green. That's in their religious belief. That's what, if you read the very top, you don't want to read it out loud, but just read what it says underneath. We do not create clouds, we enhance them. Then you'll get the idea.
Well, so there's a looks like a bunch to unpack here. I'm not exactly good at navigating this, and then it asked me to subscribe and totally closed me out, so I had to reload it. Project Green Desert in the Middle East. It says, I like how it says right off on the sides, it says 10/11/2019, November rains as we switched the weather generator to rain enhancement mode. In this space image for the formation of a thunderstorm front is obvious. So are you saying other countries are being basically more open about being able to do this?
Yes. China, Japan, several companies over in the Middle East all talk about it. They don't have a problem. Like when you see footage like over in Iran, this not this company, but the next company we'll look at, they took over these guys' antenna arrays for 1 month back in June, and they made Iran 90% underwater. I mean, cars were floating away, camels were floating away, and you seen these guys on the side of the street smiling. I mean, they want this. They want to turn the desert green. They don't care who dies from this, and they're all open about it. You know, you'll never find this kind of information here in the U.S. at all. They keep this so hid, but, you know, we keep finding stuff here and there, and bring it out.
Well, there's there's just so much that's pretty much, right there in our faces. I don't cover weather as much as other folks because we are in general here to try to get people to get into different groups and to prepare for any kind of disasters. And I don't think that a lot of people understand that.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah.
Real quick for you and Mike. Adam, you might remember this, and Mike, I'd love to know your thoughts on it. We covered a story a while back that there was a plan in the Middle East, and I'm pretty sure it was UAE, was looking into literally carving off a giant block of ice from Antarctica and shipping it across the water and parking it out on the other side of the desert and then letting that create more climate for them. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard of that. They've also talked about creating man-made mountains to slow the winds down. Man, I mean, it's endless. Like, there's so much information on what's going on. But see, here's the whole thing that people don't understand. When you're affecting the weather, say in the Middle East, it's affecting the weather completely on the other side because it's all connected. These atmospheric rivers are all connected together. And I think when the mainstream are talking whiplash, they're talking about that. That's just code word, just like climate change is code word for climate control.
I love it. I do remember covering that. I wanted to make sure you actually have some of your fans in the audience. One of them, I believe, just super chatted, actually. Let me go through this real quick. Sweet Jenna, thank you. I appreciate that. Susan Donahue, get prepped up, get prayed up, put on the full armor of God. Thank you, Susan. One of my most loyal subscribers and friends there. Magpie 2019 says, thank you, Mike. I hope Adam will finally understand reality instead of always bringing up false theories and creating more confusion. One thing I would say to you, Magpie, obviously a fan of Mike, I think that a lot of people don't understand that we actually back up what we say, and we take hours before every show to make sure that we back everything we say with an article or with some sort of evidence. In fact, people have said that. I think that some people that have not watched on a regular basis have gotten that impression. But I also don't think that I also think that they've watched a couple of crappy videos that were completely false. To this day, no one has ever really put anything out there of, valid truth or proof that we have said anything that hasn't really gone, somewhere. As far as we don't do dates, we might cover that people are talking about dates. But again, with this channel, I think people misunderstand. I think people see the fear porn-ish thumbnails and don't realize the whole main point is to get you in. Once you're in here, people leave happy. People leave a lot. I guess we're not trying to scare people, but we are trying to prepare people and let people know that there's a lot going on right now. And also, we give more people an opportunity to speak their mind and to argue with us than most other channels. I know that a lot of call-in channels do that, but usually they just hang up on you if you disagree. We don't. So I would say that. I think that a lot of people have, just assumed, the hot musket thing, that touched something real close. That literally went to the White House. The actual Pentagon spokesperson responded to hot musket, and then people wanted to say it was fake. Of course they denied it. And then just a couple months later, guess what? We had military at the border. And what was funny is it wasn't even really claiming anything that crazy. It was claiming that the guy was going down to the border and was possibly deployed to a vehicle that did ADS, active denial systems. They use active denial systems all over the world now. They're non-lethal, and they're actually they're millimeter waves, a few off from 5G, which we're going to talk about with Mike. But it's not that unbelievable. I mean, it's not like it was that crazy. The crazy part was everybody was talking about troops being domestically deployed there. Again, Pentagon doesn't respond to just every little rumor. They responded to that, and they said, this does not exist. What do they say to every single thing that does not exist? If you look back through all of the operations that have previously been declassified, they all said that they didn't exist. So they didn't say, oh, that's absurd, this and that. It's like, that's crazy. They said no comment. It does not exist as my knowledge. Stacy Solid, ask Mike about rain events in Australia in February 2020. So we're going to come back to that in 2 seconds. Marilyn Campbell Fetter, thank you. I appreciate that. Lance Muir, you can always write a message when you do that. Thank you so much. I haven't seen you in a minute. David Larson, thank you for subscribing. Zepzo, everyone sub to Renee Thomas Bible Study every day. Come hear the word of God. God bless Mike Morales and Marfoogle. Zepzo, I love Renee Thomas over there, so I'm down with that. Prepper Ilea, climate change has been around longer than humans. Our orbit around the sun and the wobble of our axis dictates our climate. Hashtag I'm a science geek. Prepper Ilea, I'm sure, there's all sorts of different theories in the room. I'm more with yours as far as it being natural. Lance Moore, thank you again. Christian, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Tyler McCracken, take my money, LOL. Okay. Century Florida Prepper, hey, much love and respect to all Foogle family and to the new subscribers. Keep your ears and eyes open and welcome to the family. Adam, Dex, and mods are awesome. Burlap Garden Gal, I support the truth. Thanks, Mike and Marf. Final Stage Justice, I wonder if YouTube is giving free super chats because they now say they can get rid of channels not profitable. Let's make Marf profitable. I would say support any channel like officially through that way, like Mike and like any other channel. I don't know what's going to happen December 10th. That's scary. I just was talking to Mike about that. Carolyn Owen, thank you for subscribing. Bonnie Blank, thank you. Car6853, Leo Mom, Adam, Dex, and Mike. This is going to be an amazing show. Awesome. Ty Palomino, hi Mike and Marfam. Taylor V, I'm so happy to catch this live. Love you guys. Thanks for the collaboration. I appreciate the time and energy you all put into your content. Jason Worthington, thank you back to back. S Johnson, thank you. Welcome. SSS. 36 Lowlife, Michael Ledbetter, Jane Lamb, Kathy, Jake Morris, Shane Herbert, Sherry Harper, Jacqueline Gann, Linda Bergman, Bill Began, Safarella, Holly M, Bahinen, Haken Tamata, Recoil 699. Thank you. All right, those are all new subscribers. Thank you guys for all coming. Okay, Mike, going back to her question real quick, she said that very specifically like you would know the answer. Talking about Australia in February, the rain events in Australia in February of 2020. What do you think about that, Mike?
I really don't know. I haven't really looked into that far in the future, so that'd be something I just have to dig into. She just had to stay tuned in. I mean, that's here in a few months.
Oh, okay. So she's probably in Australia. Oh, well, actually, she donated $2 Australian. That's makes sense. So she's asking essentially, what do you think is going to happen rain-wise in Australia in February 2020, which isn't that crazy. He does a 16-day forecast. Is there any threat to any country in the world, do you think, as far as like crazy extreme weather?
Operations, we know it's either a big weather change, a big weather pattern change, or there's going to be an earthquake, or there's going to be a fire. I've seen it on every continent. That's what I look for. That's the first sign something's going to happen. Sometimes it takes a week. Sometimes it takes days. Sometimes they could be out there for a couple of weeks. Same thing in Australia. I do cover Australia a lot because it's going on a lot down there. And we'll get into a guy that actually does weather mitigation down there.
Now, do you think that out of all the countries in the world, do you know is there one offender that's worse than them all? Is that us, or is that in your opinion?
No, it's all every single one of them. See, the whole thing. Everything's about the weather. I mean, even when you beat somebody for the first time, you're going to be talking about the weather. How's the weather? It's cold out here. It's hot out here. Well, the weather is going to be what causes the final war because they're all trying to control it. And if you want to go to the next the global trading company, if you want to click on that link real quick, the next article.
And then
click on that
climateglobal.net or on the website.
Now this company here.
Okay, got it.
This is another. Yeah, this is another company out of the United Arab Emirates. And you can see right here at the top of the page, seawater desalination technology, cloud seeding technology, 1 cubic meter, $10. That's a lot of money. Now, what this company's doing, if you see that climate cron up there, that's a cryptocurrency. Now, what they want to do is they want to bottle up this atmospheric river that I've been talking about that's up in the troposphere, and they want to sell it, buy this cryptocurrency. I mean, this is how crazy this company is. They've created cyclones. I mean, it's all documented right here on their page, but they're trying to hijack the rivers of the sky. That's why I say this will be the final battle, will be over the weather. And this is just one of the companies it's leading that way. That's why you're seeing all the water aquifers getting poisoned by the fracking, radiation leaks. You know, they're ruining the water, the natural water all over the globe. And then they want to be able to sell this to you. I mean, this is going on, and it's not fear porn. This is what's going on. This is part of the New World Order. This is how they're going to implement it. I mean, if somebody spends time really digging into this info, and there you go, they've got all the stuff that they do also on here. And this is just a couple companies. They're all over. They're in Japan. They're in India. They're everywhere. And then you have private contractors doing the same things. I don't know if you know this, but even a farmer can go buy a cloud ionizer. He can buy an antenna that will ionize the clouds for his farm and produce more rain. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, is that legal, or is that something you would get from a different country, or is that just something that anybody can do?
Here, them are made right here in the United States. I don't have that link pulled up. I mean, I might be able to pull it up, but yeah, it's I mean, you can go to any of the power companies. Idaho Power Company, they do weather modification. PG&E also does weather modification. I've showed that on several videos here lately. In fact, let me see if I can find that one. If you want to talk about something for a second, I'll try to find that one on PG&E.
Yeah, no problem. In fact, we had a PG&E employee called in. You guys saw that, and he said he's a regular viewer, and in fact, we saw from our logs that he had called in before months and months prior and just talked about something else. One thing I would have to say is about that video is a lot of people said that he sounded like somebody actually sounded like Rothschild himself. Ted Rothschild, or one of the younger ones. He said, gosh, the voices were exactly the same, knowing that Rothschilds own that company, right? Expect buffering now. But
it was
then
David, the younger one.
David, yes. That's right, David. And, well, did that gentleman, he sounded like he was trained extremely well, like he drank the Kool-Aid at work. And no offense to you, sir, and I appreciate you watching and being a fan. And I know you're just doing your job. I think that's more than anything. He was doing his job, but he also called in. And then when I asked him questions, it was like straight out of a book. I mean, he sounded like he was their, their public, what do you call it, Dex? The freaking
public relations.
PR guy. Yeah, public relations guy. I mean, it was like unbelievable. Every question. And then he actually kind of got around questions. So he had this way around everything to where he would answer it in a very, kind of dodgy way. It was crazy. So with that being said, that's not a bad thing for you, sir. I think that what is going on is that you work somewhere. You end up getting prideful of where you work, and you might drink the Kool-Aid because you know the people face to face that are telling you this. But I just think that they're doing the same thing with their higher ups, and I don't think that they're all being told exactly what's going on. Mike, if you did find that, we can.
Yeah, I'm still looking. I got it here. I'm really bad about writing down my links. I got them, but I don't have.
That's all right. In the meanwhile, I'm going to pull up something related here.
I I did. I do have it here. I'll shoot the link
Shoot
over
it
to you here in just a second.
Shoot
It's
it
a
over
PDF.
to Dex, and he can put it on my live screen. Let's see here. This I'm not going to hit this. Okay, so you cover all sorts of things. I wanted to cover a couple of earthquake things with you too. We'll wait until after we get that link. But in the meanwhile, I just want you to think about the earthquake hits France's nuclear power output. Did you hear about this yet? This is kind of new.
No, I haven't heard about that, but yeah, see, that's another thing that could be a satellite-based weaponry from the ionospheric heating. Ground penetrating radar can cause earthquakes. The Chernobyl thing that went on, that could have been done by the Russian woodpecker, the ionospheric heater over there.
The Russian woodpecker? Is that what you said?
Yes.
That's awesome.
The Russian woodpecker. Yeah. It's a crazy antenna array. Yeah.
No, and I would love to. We talked beforehand, and a lot of the times I only watch the videos of yours that people send me. I know when you've done something very popular, because I'll get 15 people sending me the same video of yours, and I'll end up watching that video. I'm like, wow, everybody, and it's it's on a regular basis. That's why I said we've reached out to you before to no avail. I was glad to hear that you actually even knew who I was and were able to come on the show. So just as far as the France's nuclear power, this just happened. It says earthquake hits France's nuclear power output, and it says the Cruas nuclear power plant has suspended production after earthquakes in the region. French electricity giant EDF on Thursday cuts its forecast for nuclear energy production this year after suspending operations at an atomic plant in the south of the country following a highly unusual earthquake. Did you guys hear that? They literally described it as a highly unusual earthquake. And it says EDF took 3 reactors at the Cross plant at the Ardèche region offline after Monday's earthquake, which had a magnitude of 5.4 and was felt across a vast area between the cities of Lyon and Montélimar. It says the tremors were particularly felt in Thiel, just 15 kilometers from the power plant. The reactors halted for check as required by law in these circumstances, although no damage has so far been found. So they're cutting off the whole. I mean, it's not a small thing to turn off a nuclear power plant. I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
Not. And what I would do when something like that happens, and I'll definitely be looking into it, but I start looking at all my different resources, and if I can find correlating satellites, if I can use a European satellite, then I can use the GOES 17, the GOES 16, and I can see something either in the clouds or something in one of the layers, the ionospheric layers, then we can actually pinpoint where it comes from. That's what I do. That's what I try to find, is where'd that come from? Is it a natural event? Whenever they call something unusual, there's something funny going on with that. But, I try to find the evidence to back up what I say. All my research, I have stuff to back it up. I don't make this stuff up. I have all the documents, all the patents. I show the companies that do it or can do it.
No, and I've seen it. I've seen how you grab the charts, you grab the graphs, you grab the actual videos of things happening. So it's pretty cool that you can pretty much always match up a highly unusual event as far as like weather, earthquake, meteor, and you can pretty much find something that goes along with it. Now it says here, let's see, earthquake.
Adam, real quick before you get into the article, for you and Mike, the one thing that shocks me about this is we just talked about the threat of these nuclear plants around the faults in California and how many of them, especially the PG&E ones, aren't even up to code as far as being able to withstand some of these earthquakes. And here we have it. we see what is happening to a plant and they're needing to shut down, right? So this is,
Oh, so
not really foreshadowing, but
okay.
this is what we talked about in California. Is could happen here. It's happening in France.
Okay, so Mike, I know you probably haven't seen this episode from last week, but we covered it exactly what he said. PG&E has, what was it, 3 plants, Dex? Was it 3 plants? Or
yeah, there was 3 that they owned, and there was at least 6 or 8 that were all along fault lines that were all old and not maintained well.
So poorly maintained that they said, basically they shouldn't even be on. They should be shut down. They are so poorly taken care of. PG&E is going bankrupt. They have no money. They don't have enough people there. They're understaffed. There's repairs, all these things that need to be done, right? And they talked about the risk of an earthquake because all of these things are on top of a freaking fault or right next to it. And we talked about this, and now an actual earthquake happens in France right on a fault where I don't know why they kept building these things on faults, maybe because they couldn't avoid it. But again, France, that happened. And the thing is when we talked about that a week ago, a lot of people we saw said, oh, well, that'll never happen, blah, blah, blah. The odds of it are very low. It's like, no, they're not, especially in California. In France, they are incredibly low. And look, where it was incredibly a crazy chance that an earthquake would hit there, it hit. And now they have that thing shut down. If that happened in California to the ones that are taken care of way worse than that one in France. That one in France is well taken care of. Imagine if the 3 get shaken up in California. I mean, we're talking about the West Coast is about to have a 9.0, which brings me, Mike, I've got this pulled up. It says precipitation enhancement. This is the rain enhancement poll or something that you can get. And it says a resource management strategy of the California Water Plan. Now, what the heck is this?
This is a PDF that comes from the California Department of Water Resources. This come out in 2016. If you scroll down and you go here to the abbreviations and stuff, these are the companies that are modifying the weather in California. Now, you've got the California Energy Commission, you got the California Department of Water Resources, you got the Regional Water Management, the National Center for Atmospheric Research, you got the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, you got the Notice of Intent, the National Research Council, Pacific Gas and Electric Company. It goes on. And they talk about the cloud seeding operations that they've done, all the way back from 1991. And what most people don't know, there's a picture down where it shows the areas that they've done the weather enhancement, whether it be cloud seeding or rain mitigation or snow modification. Now, one thing that people don't know is that PG&E also has satellites up. They have satellite laser weapons up already. It's a company called Solarian. Now, you can look up Wikipedia and just look up Solarian Company.
Holy moly. And by the way, I'm going to pull up Solarian. Is it
just go to Wikipedia and then put in Solarian.
Okay, let's see.
And this is gonna blow your mind, man.
This is why Mike's the man. The Solarians, is it IAN, by the way?
I think it's SOLERN. I'm seeing if I got it here. No, that's not it. This again. Let me do a Google search. Might be able to just type laser PG&E.
Maybe I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, I probably did too. I'm horrible. Okay, here we go. Pacific Gas and Electric Company Wikipedia. Let me see if I can get to the Solarian on here. Might be down.
And that, well, if you want to find that for a second, I want to read this one paragraph from what you just showed us up here with precipitation enhancement. Okay, there are some people, and I get emails all the time saying that you're crazy, cloud seeding was a theory. I'm like, okay, first of all, you don't know history of Vietnam or even any of the treaties we actually have with other countries saying that we will not use weather enhancement as a weapon. Basically, they knew how to start things. And just so you know, I don't know, Mike, if you know much about this. I'm sure you do. I want to say it was the 80s or 97, I think. We did the last treaty where it was essentially considered a weapon of mass destruction to use weather against each other because we knew how to do several things, and they admitted to being able to trigger earthquakes, typhoons, hurricanes, tornadoes, I believe, too. But they didn't know how to stop it. So since everybody knew how to do it and nobody knew how to stop it, they said it was, cruel and unusual. And they said, we will not do this. It's a it's a WMD. So we're not doing it. They made treaties with other countries. It's a real treaty. This is precipitation. This is water.california.gov. This is real deal for the people that say, oh, they don't do that. Those are always fake. Precipitation enhancement, commonly called, quote, cloud seeding, artificially stimulates clouds to produce more rainfall or snowfall than they would produce naturally. Cloud seeding, listen to the wording here, injects substances into the clouds that enable snowflakes and raindrops to form more easily. Precipitation enhancement is the one form of weather modification done in California. The one form. Oh, that's just in California, right? The one form. How many forms are there? Just saying. That's pretty crazy, Mike.
Right. And I think Dex found the Wikipedia Solarian page.
It's in the screener.
Oh, wow. Yeah, weird spelling. Okay, so we got this pulled up. Look, check this, guys, out. This is nuts. This is awesome stuff. I'm so glad we were able to connect with you. Solarian Inc. is a Southern California startup corporation created to utilize solar energy for terrestrial electricity usage. In 2009, the company had contract under the negotiation with PG&E Company of California to deliver 200 megawatts of power for at least 15 years. Starting in 2016, the cost of contracted activities has reportedly as slightly more than California's projected energy cost in 2016. It says Solarian plans to provide this electrical power to PG&E's customers from solar panels mounted on satellites placed in Earth's orbit. The satellite would convert this energy into radio waves and send it to a receiving station in Fresno County, California. The plan is to provide 200 megawatts of continuous power, estimated to the average usage of 150,000 homes. Wait a second. How they're sending power through radio waves? Is this healthy?
No, this is not healthy. This is lasers from the sky, microwaves from the sky. 200 megawatts is the same as the Arecibo ionospheric heater down in where is that, down south? I know where it is on the map, but the giant satellite you see on all the James Bond movies, that thing's putting off 200 megawatts, but this is continuous. This is actually, it goes into laser weaponry also. You got to dig way down. Actually, it's not on here no more, but I got it somewhere, but you can dig in. It's an actual laser based weapon from a satellite, and this could be a cause of some of those fires because they're like sending a focused beam down, and say they sent too much power down, and it starts popping these transformers off even when the power's off because it's overloading the systems. That's why you see tons of fires starting at the same time. I think they're actually trying to hone this thing in, like when you're trying to burn like a leaf with a magnifying glass and you're trying to focus that beam to get the leaf to catch on fire. Same principle.
What happens if you have kind of a mini solar flare or something hit that thing? Does it make it stronger?
It could take it out. That's the whole thing. I mean, this is some dangerous stuff that they're doing.
What
And people don't know
somebody said
people
GoldenEye.
don't know.
That was in the game GoldenEye, wasn't it? This a satellite, something like that.
Exactly, the Arecibo.
That is so weird. These things, and it does say on the Wikipedia, it says, if successful, and this is actually 3 years old, so actually I believe it is successful now. If successful, this project would be the first implementation of space-based solar power, SBSP, and the concept was first dreamed up in 1941. So wait, this might have started back 3 years ago, and then all of a sudden the last 3 years we've had all these crazy fires.
Right. They've already bought the power. It's already in 2016. That's when they put in the money to buy it. It's already up there. It's already online.
Wow, this is incredible. I would
It's crazy, and that's why I'm saying this gets so deep, man. I mean, this is another weather modification device. You know, when you have space mirrors, they're harnessing the radiation coming off the sun, and you point that thing somewhere, it's going to cook some things.
Now, this next article, it says, earthquake conspiracy theorists are wreaking havoc during emergencies. Now, let's see here. Okay, so, wait, this is the one on Dutch. Is this not their Dex?
Yeah, that was on Dutch. There.
They about halfway down. It's a pretty long article, but yeah, they went in on Dutch.
Okay, so I've got a highlighted part on this one, so let me pull this up. This is on our good friend Dutch. If you're a fan of Dutch, then you're a friend of ours. They're deliberately not reporting quakes, according to Michael Jurijanich in a November 4th YouTube live broadcast. He seemed to mean that the USGS and he had a theory about why, quote, their blatherings would be debunked, he declared, and they wouldn't look so professional, would they? Janix goes by Dutch Sense online, and he is the best known and best followed freelance quake predictor. His profile photos on multiple accounts show a slim white man with a black rimmed glasses, frequently sporting a fedora. Janich, who didn't respond to a message sent to his email address or his official Facebook page requesting comment, has 354,000 subscribers on YouTube, where he describes his specialties as, quote, earthquake forecasting and geophysics research. He also has 110,000 followers on Facebook, 36,000 on Twitter, and 24,000 on Twitch. Good for you, brother. His videos on YouTube are monetized. Each time I watch them, I got the same ad for boat rental for some reason, and he offers paid Twitch subscriptions ranging from $5 to $25 a month. He also sells t-shirts and hats and has a blend named by after him by a coffee brand. He also says he doesn't receive any money from that deal, and it says he has even inspired 2 hot sauces made by a fan in Florida. One is which is called the 9.5 Earthquake Blend. That's cool. That's freaking sweet. I don't know why. It sounds like the way they said that. Is this guy a hater, Dex? Dex?
Well, I don't know if he's a hater, because he's certainly highlighting a lot here around Dutch Sense. I think he was just going over the notion that there's a lot of non-mainstream reporters here, and that they can, I guess, in his headline is they can create havoc when there's an emergency. But yeah, it's a very long article. I just saw the Dutch part.
Well, I think he's probably going to be talking about what happened with New Zealand a bit ago. New Zealand went after him. The actual New Zealand government went after Dutch Sense after he basically said that there was going to be this big thing. I think he was right, wasn't he? Like, he called it, and
he was right. Yeah, he was right. And then some of the mainstream channels actually let the people know he was right, and that rubbed some people the wrong way. Yeah, the article's actually attacking him. I've seen a lot of his responses. Yeah, he didn't take it too lightly.
I have not seen his responses yet, but I've pushed people his way for a year and a half. Copper Tropicals comes in our chat every once in a while. I've never talked to Dutch. Dutch has left a thank you on one of my videos that I supported him during when he was getting a lot of crap. The thing about Dutch Sense is like he says, it literally is very accurate. And I remember when that New Zealand thing happened, someone went on the mainstream news and said that they would not have been prepared if it wasn't for Dutch predicting or saying that. They said that they specifically did something and they felt like Dutch sense saved their life. Now, that's pretty crazy. But he says...
I'm gonna get him on the show here pretty soon. We talk, but it's just hard for us to get lined up at the same time. So,
well, let him know. I would love to have him on too. Now he talks about HAARP. What do you think of HAARP, Mike?
Well, HAARP's just one facility. I mean, it's just one of a whole bunch. I mean, if you want me to try to screen share real quick, I can show you a whole bunch of them. I just don't know if it'll lag you out or whatever.
Well, we can at least try. Oh, wait a second. I can't actually show. I didn't find a way to do it. That's right. I have no way to.
Well, he does. He might have a screenshot of just one side of the view, but I mean, it's insane. Like, there's hundreds of them.
Let's see.
But yeah, that's all right.
I would like to try. Let's see here. Yeah, it won't let me do for whatever reason, it wouldn't let me do a window capture, and it's never let me not do that of the Skype. Let's see here.
You know what, though? I have my camera off, so hold on. Let me see if I can fix that for you. Now I gotta find my Skype here.
It wouldn't let me do it even when Dex had his on. So, but maybe that's because he's the secondary caller. Let's see here. Do this.
Oh, I think.
I don't know why when you turn on your video, the audio just goes to crap.
All right. Now I do have my camera on now over on the Skype, so it should. There it is. It just popped up. You should be able to just click on my icon on the Skype.
Well, the thing is everything is going out through Streamlabs OBS. So they're not seeing Skype. They're only hearing the audio.
Okay, then you probably wouldn't be.
But keep it open for one more second. Do you guys hear that? His voice goes all every time he opens his camera. I think they're messing with you, man.
They are.
Yeah, it goes completely computer. Yeah, it will not do it. They don't want you, whatever it is, they don't want you to see it.
All right, well, I'll go ahead. That's something else. If somebody wants to look more into it, I show it almost nightly. I show this, so.
We can pull, is there a video of yours we can pull up with your permission?
Yeah, I just don't know, like, which one it would be. Like, I show them all the time, but man, as much news in 1 hour as humanly possible. So.
Okay, let me just. Either way, we need to pull up your channel for the people that do not know who Mike Morales is. Let's show them your channel. It was funny. Right when I hit him up, he answered as he was like ending his live. So he had hundreds and hundreds of people in there. And I was like, oh crap, sorry. This is Mike Morales. I'm going to zoom in on this so everybody can see this. Hold on. Make sure that everything's there. Now, did you ever get booted off or anything? It seems like you have way more followers than it shows.
Yeah, this is my second channel. I mean, I had a first channel that went back for, a long time. I've been targeted, attacked. I think they actually injected me with cancer, so I had to battle cancer for a while. I mean, this is not, a kind of profession a lot of people would like to get into. And it's not even my profession. I just do this to warn the people. I have a regular job, and I have a farm, and I'm building a house. Like, I got to go through a lot of things, but I devote what time my wife lets me to warn the people of what's really going on. So
now, he kind of shows this, and a lot of people are religious about watching him. I mean, you have some of the most loyal subscribers. They email me every video, every single thing that you put out. If you put out a warning or a prediction or anything, they end up getting that. So I'm gonna show you guys kind of what his videos look like here. Now, Mike, there was a couple other questions that I was thinking of, and then we got into the PG&E thing. Asteroids, meteors. We're about to head into the Lynnwood. What is going on with all these asteroids and meteors coming in? Do you have any opinions on that?
Well, yeah, they come in every year. I mean, I'm an astrophotographer. I mean, that's what got me into all this stuff. Like, normally I'd be out actually filming this. I have a observatory on my 3rd floor where my roofs open up, and I'm in a completely dark sky, but you know, I just can't do it because I'm too busy warning people. But yeah, this is pretty much a every year thing. Sometimes they're worse than others. You're always going to have these debris fields, you know, coming by. I mean, everything's moving always. So to me, it's nothing out of the normal. In fact, I wish I was out filming it.
Now, somebody asked if you actually did weather on the TV. They said that they had a weatherman with the same name, Mike Morales, which, by the way, does sound like a very weatherman name.
No, I don't look nothing like any kind of weatherman. No, I did at the beginning take some meteorology classes, but they were all lying. And every time I tried to debate, it just turned into a fiasco. So I was like, well, screw you guys. You know, I'm not even going to try to learn your indoctrination. So that was ended, and I just kind of went on my own, and this is where we're at. One interesting thing that you might like, though, is if you look over on that first row of videos, there you see a video where it says working underground. Now, my office for my day job is actually in an underground facility, which I have to go into every morning. And what I do is I watch. If something major is going to happen, they're going to be locking down all these underground facilities. And I see stuff going on right now where they're adding like different weird security guards, like they're moving the guard bases out of the cave, and then there's actually a separate one. There's some weird stuff going on, but they're not locking down the entrances yet, but they are digging underneath the entrance, and they're doing something. I haven't been able to figure out what they're doing, but that's one thing else that I kind of dig into is I watch, you know, Missouri's full of these underground facilities. I mean, they're huge. You got subtropolis, they're miles and miles long, tons of railroad tracks run through them, secret entrances and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Now, this is why I reached out to you, actually. We got so many different topics to talk about that I almost forgot about this. I had this on my notes. In fact, I tweeted something out just a couple days ago, and so I put something out, and then people responded, and that's when I ended up tweeting out saying, "Why are they prepping all of the underground areas?" Somebody said that this, when I posted a video of yours, they said, "Oh, this is a fake video. This is a sound set or something." And I go, "Okay, first off, there's a lot of people that do not know that these exist. These are not only there's public ones that you can actually rent commercial commercial places in, but there are military ones that go under 48 out of 50 states. There's only 46 out of 48 landlocked states. So then you got Hawaii and Alaska. They probably have their own version. But as far as these ones, you work in one of these ones then?
Yeah, we have an office in this particular one. And I mean, they do, you know, in some of these caves in Missouri, like especially this one, they do marathons in there in the wintertime. I mean, I've seen the alphabet gangs coming in here. They'll rent, you know, some of the things out, and they'll do like paintball wars in there. They'll do, you know, mock-ups of whatever, you know, they're getting ready to do. I mean, these things are everywhere. Almost every little hill you look at, there's a secret cave right there. Diesels drive through here. Yeah, I go in there every single single morning and leave. I get my paperwork, and then I go out and do my I do laser templates for countertops. So I go in there, get my paperwork, but I'm watching who's coming in here. See, you got the IRS in here. You got tons of government agencies in here. So these are the places that you need to watch. You know, what are the upgrades coming? What are they doing? And what's really freaky, I went to a job not too long ago, and this guy come right out and said that he was mapping caves. Like, I didn't ask him anything. I was just there to do a job. And he's like, yeah, man, I map caves for DARPA. Or he was like a subcontractor at DARPA. I'm just like, why is this guy even telling me this? But they are mapping every single cave. I guess because I use a 3D laser templater, and that's the same thing they use to map the caves, and that's actually how the conversation started. But they're going around to every little crevice, every little map that they can find, every little cave, and they're mapping them out. I mean, why are they doing that? He wouldn't tell me why they're doing it.
So
they're definitely.
So they're
and they're blocking. They're blocking off a bunch of these caves. You know, the caves that are out in somebody's field, you know, somebody's, say somebody's lake property, they got a cave that runs under, they're going in there and barring them off so nobody can get in there. That's some nuts stuff, man.
Okay, so in fact, something you said that, as far as you said earlier on, that they were digging in this particular one near the entrance. At about the end of this video of you driving around this humongous thing, which, by the way, these things are crazy, it shows the traffic cones and only like one lane, so you actually have to wait for somebody to go, and then you drive around. Is that where the digging was going on? Like they're doing something right next to the entrance?
Yeah, right. Yeah, right there, and then there's a bunch of cameras right there. You got some exhaust fans. But there used to be I don't know if you can see in the video, but there's a dark glass windows right there. That's where the security guard station used to be. They used to have fences that closed up, but now they moved the guard shack outside. But then there's a portable guard shack, a new one, a brand new one with a different kind of security company. I mean, this thing's like, you know, the storage containers, but this thing has, you know, like power to it. It's got its own meter. Different security. It's just some weird stuff going on. That's one thing that I kind of document every so often, just to, you know, when I see something like them digging in the entrance, you know, I document that just to make sure, you know, what's going on here.
So this is actually really weird what Mike just said. Right here, paused at the entranceway, is this basically a little room with the windows closed out. So they're not using that room for a checkpoint. They've actually moved it to a temporary one outside, and then now they're doing work in there. This is the kind of stuff that weirds me out. So again, this is one, even though you're doing just kind of a normal job in there, is this one of the places that would be, you know, a good place to be in if we had some sort of attack?
Well, this is where my wife and I would go if we were under tornado warning. We used to go jogging in this cave in the wintertime, you know, to get out of the weather. We could go, because this thing is miles long. I mean, and you can drive right in there if you know where you're going, and nobody's going to stop you, you know, unless you're pulled over somewhere doing something suspicious. But they're definitely doing something really weird here in the entrance of this thing.
But now, in an event of an emergency, does this have a way to close up completely? Is that something it could do?
It used to, but like I said, they took the fences down. I don't know if they're preparing to put something else in that place. You know, maybe they're doing some underground wiring or fortifying, or who knows what they're doing. I don't know yet.
That is so weird. Again, he said that now they've moved this checkpoint to the outside, portable one. This is, oh yeah, look at that. This stuff fascinates me as far as the underground tunnels.
Yeah, I figure you get a kick out of that. But then there's a secondary outside one that's just right off over the parking lot with a new kind of security car that I've never seen before. That's what I was saying. Like, this is the kind of people need to pay attention to.
Well, and again, this is not a unique thing. This is all over the country, and even in the places you think there's no underground place, just because of the geographical area. I knew that there was one underneath a swamp area, and I was out of in the country in Florida, and the person said, "Oh no, they don't have that kind of stuff here. Look at the land," and I actually looked it up and showed him. I'm like, no, there is. There's underground facilities in all the states, and a lot of them are secretive. Ones like this they use for public use if they decided that that's not, used for this. Now, do you think that this was used before you guys were in it, before commercial space was in it? Do you think that this was used prior for military purposes, or was this opened specifically for commercial?
Who knows? I mean, if this thing was built in the Cold War area, it could have been. Like, I don't know how long this cave's been around. I haven't really looked into it. I mean, there's thousands of them in this area. You can always look up Subtropolis. That's one of the bigger ones. I mean, it's a monster. There's one across the street. There's actually 3 or 4 across the street. There's every little hill that looks like a little hill. I mean, this cave actually goes underneath the neighborhood. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Now, another thing, so the Subtropolis, this is just nuts. Underground Kansas. This thing is gigantic. Look at the size of the human being here. Look at this. Don't know why it's not doing that part. Look at the size of this human being on this thing. This is just a gigantic... isn't that one hundreds of miles or something square foot?
Like I drove around it because I had to go in there and get some car graphics on a company car, and I got lost in there, man. I was lost for a good hour and a half trying to find my way out. I mean, it's nuts.
That's funny. And they really are that big. I mean, you're talking about they're under parts of entire states, and people don't think we have this.
Yeah. Actually, this year, in fact, earlier this year, like back in, might have been March, a disgruntled employee went back in there with a gun, and man, they were trying to lock that place down. They couldn't find them nowhere. I mean, there's so many places to hide. It was locked down for a long time because they couldn't find him, and then eventually, somehow, he got out of there without them catching him.
Now, with this, so what Mike was saying is, if these start closing down or if these start prepping up, then something, big is going to happen at some point else. So we need to keep an eye on this. As far as some of them, though, nobody even knows where they're at. I told you guys about the truck driver who contacted me. He was former military. He was paid extremely well. The guy was super well off. We did a Skype thing, and his house was just... it was like he looked like a trucker living in a Beverly Hills mansion. I mean, that's how nice his house was. Everything was nice. It was out of a catalog, and it had a view and huge windows overlooking a thing. Well, the guy basically gets paid extremely, extremely, extremely well, like $500,000 a year, as part of a small team that basically towed this crazy, crazy stuff for the military. And he says that you can go 3 states without seeing the sky. I mean, you're literally underground for 3 states. You put your cell phone in a box that actually security takes your phone, takes all of it, does a little scan on you, puts the phone on a magnetic lockbox that goes on the outside of your truck. So they can watch it the entire time from point A to point B that you do not access it, and you can't. There's one key to lock it in there from security at one point, and then there's security at the next. He said underneath, and Mike, would you say, since you work in one of these places, he said underneath is basically its own city. There's Starbucks, which in the military versions, a military uniformed person is the barista, and they switch out every 6 hours. He said there's stores, there's everything that you could get on the top underneath. Does that sound crazy, Mike, or does that sound right?
No, it's right. And then, like, all these things have tons and tons of food storage, food distribution. all the government agencies are in there. Like, they're there for a reason.
And people don't realize, that Russia touted that every single person in Moscow, the capital, they have shelter for. In fact, they have actively, the one thing that they might have an advantage on us is publicly they have more shelters than us, as far as like their people think they have a place to go if something was to happen, some sort of exchange. We have just as much shelter. We just don't tell our people about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. But that's why I try to watch. I wanted to bring that up. I didn't, just because I knew you might be interested in that.
No, I think that's great. Now we've kind of touched on asteroids, earthquakes. As far as any other weather, can you stick around and take a couple calls with us?
Sure.
Okay,
there was just one more guy I wanted to talk about on here.
Oh, okay.
And it was that Twitter.
That's
Twitter
right.
One.
I got it right here. Let me open this up, and then I do got a couple comments I'm going to hit after that. So let me pull this up for us. Okay, so.
All right. So once you get this guy up here, now this guy used to work for a company called Acquiesce, Sci Blue. These guys have spoke at the UN. Now I'm going to actually get this guy on my show. He's went on a Jim Lee's show before. Now he is one of their modification expert. He's a private contractor now. You look right on his page there, it says tornado mitigation. But if you go down, I documented a lot of the rain enhancement that he did in Australia. You can scroll on down. He does it for the farmers. But this year I tracked, there were some fires going on in Tasmania, and he put the fires out. If you scroll down far enough, you'll find it. And he also talks about if there's a picture down on May 30th where he's showing these lines out there off the coast of Australia. That's the bunker fuel. But anyway, he put the fires out really fast. And, when we see these fires burning over off the West Coast, they could easily be put out if they wanted to, but that's not what's going on. They want it to burn. I mean, that's why these places are burning up. That's why Australia is burning up right now. They have the technology right down there right now, and they could easily put these fires out. Now, this guy did some rain enhancement back in 2012 down in Texas. There's an article come out. It's California, or Texas stole California's rain. And he went down and did a test in Texas, and he actually, brought in a bunch of rain, but it stole the atmospheric river that was actually going into California at the time. And then California went into like a 5-year drought until that atmospheric river was steered again. I mean, it's crazy stuff, but I mean, this is going on. He's got a website and all that stuff where you can learn about it.
Now I went.
He offers,
Here's the May 31st. Is that the one that we Let's see here.
I don't know, I scrolled around. I lost it there. But yeah, he put the fires out back like in February down in Tasmania. He also has a website you can look at, and I'm sure it talks about it on there.
Oh, no.
I document.
The whole thing is him telling you he can do it. I mean, we can do it, right?
Check this out. When he come to Texas to do this operation out of Texas, he left some equipment there, and he had to go back and get the equipment out of there. And when he went back to this, it was like a Navy Nexrad site or whatever. There's a bunch of holes in the wall where they had everything was being filmed and recorded, hidden cameras everywhere. And they had busted the holes in the walls, and he could see where the cameras and all that crap was. I mean, it was just some crazy stuff. The government agencies told him he better build a bunker I mean, there's some crazy stuff going on with this guy.
All of this is crazy. This whole show, you've been just left and right, been just blowing my mind. This is awesome. Gosh, this gives us so many more things to think about, to even talk about. Jeez. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to get to some calls here in a second. First, I'm going to go through Lance Muir. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. You can always write a message and say hi. Give our kids a fighting chance. A fighting chance. Marfoogle fan for life, they say. Shelby Rose, or Shellbell Rose, looking up, says, Marfoogle TV, thanks for all that you do. Thank you, Shellbell Rose. That's a hard name to see. Shellbell Rose. Lance Muir, D-I-N-J-G. D-I-N-G-ing. D-I-N-J-ing. DJing, I think. I don't know. That's pretty cool. Weird. GT, thank you, Mike and Marf. That's awesome. CAM Camera says, here you go, Marfoogle. I appreciate that for the $5 super chat. Lance Muir, once again, thank you so much. The guy, I'm 14 minutes behind from live. Shrapnel for all. I don't get it, but I'm sure it will hit me like shrapnel later. Crazy Crisp 7 says, remember to keep Christ in Christmas. Love you, Foogle family. Great advice. Spud Ruckus says, why protest climate change? For the Greta good. I thought that would have been a, did you hear that? Why protest climate change?
Yeah.
For the Greta good. For the Greta good. That was pretty good. In fact, I thought that would be a Prepper Ilea joke, or a my joke. Jane C, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to this channel. New York, 1977. God bless you and your family from cold Florida. I guess it's NYY 1977. Stacy Solit, clarifying date has come from Aboriginal elders. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And then David Larson, Carolyn Owen, and 36 Lola. Boom. Thank you guys for all coming. Sarah B. 33, thank you for the super chat. And Karen Ann Preston, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the fam. I mean that. Okay. So let's see here. I think, Dex, we should be able to take calls and he'll hear them too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll work. And I've got a couple callers on hold. Hey, real quick, Adam, there was sort of a breaking news. A lot of people were commenting about T-Man and chest pains. And I don't know the official
I saw a heart
word.
attack in the thing, in the,
yeah.
Oh my God, that's...
So this is what I know at the moment. Somebody around 7 o'clock who isn't really known as a T-Man supporter or a supporter of the president had made a comment around 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m. that he was being checked for that. But later, T-Man himself had tweeted saying, hey, he started his physical at the hospital and everything's cool. So we're not sure if there's any validity to that earlier statement or if it's sort of been quashed by his recent tweet. And that tweet was a couple of hours ago. So there's already articles out about it. So everybody
I pulled one up.
Just wait till we hear a little bit more news. That's what we've got. Okay?
Wow. Wait a second. So this is the tweet, November 16, 2019. Visited a great family of a young man under major surgery at the amazing Walter Reed Medical Center. These are truly some of the best doctors anywhere in the world. Also began phase 1 of my yearly physical. Everything very good. Great. Will complete next year. So as far as that goes, I don't even know who said that, because I saw that in the chat. People were saying heart attack or something. And I was like, what the heck are they talking about? Speaking of which, if you guys have never heard of RKTNN, Randall just did a video, by the way. I just want to bring this up real quick because I'm been praying for him every single day. He is, he does a call-in show as well. One thing I don't get is why people in this niche, think that everybody else is competition. This is a good man right here. If he goes live at the same time, go over and watch him. He's an amazing guy, and he had a triple stroke. Not one, not two, three strokes, and was paralyzed half of his entire body, and now he's gaining stuff back. So it's like a miracle. So I think that's from a lot of people praying and just sending positive vibes in general. If you guys don't want to support me, head over there and help. I'm sure they've got a GoFundMe and stuff like that going. His wife and stuff have been doing things. So if you guys want to go support him, that is also awesome as well. You can, in fact, just let us know you did it and shout you out just the same. Okay, Mike. Mike, do you know RKTNN? Do you know Randall?
No, I don't think I do. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of other channels. I mean, I wish I had more time. I would, but yeah, I just don't get a lot of time.
No, I don't blame you. Me and him have kind of switched off. He's called into my show and I've called into his. So, it's funny. I watch call-in shows when I'm not doing a call-in show. Okay, let's see here. So we're going to take some calls. First, I just want to say if you guys do want to help support us, you can do so by actually supporting us through EMP Shield. Just so you guys know, you can actually do that at marfooglenews.com/EMP. For the callers, I always have to do my notice. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably from myself, Dex, or anyone else who helps with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with a professional. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not checked out my other channel, make sure to go over to marfoogle.news. This channel, Marfoogle News, has just recently surpassed 145,000. Over there, a lot is going to be going on pretty soon. We are actually doing a bunch of videos, so we will actually have scheduled releases once a day for a certain amount of days. So there is a guaranteed video there, at a certain time, set up in advance. So that's going to be happening over there at Marfoogle News. That's a separate channel from this one with more subscribers, less content. In fact, shorter content, edited so you can share it out with your family. You can easily get there by going there, marfoogle.news, or going to marfooglenews.com. With that being said, the next one here, if you would like to join our Discord, it's very important that you get with people in your neighborhood, people that like-minded individuals that don't think you're crazy for looking up and saying, what the hell is coming out of that plane? These people are in every state, and they are doing weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, monthly, bi-monthly meetings in your city, and you haven't even known about it. Again, go to marfooglenews.com, sign up for Marfoogle Alerts, and get in there in the Discord. And then the Earthing movie, you can go to marfooglenews.com/GT. And then if you would like to support us through ground therapy, these are ground therapy or earthing products from the man himself, Clint Ober, and his company. This actually helps us. The small commission of this goes to helping us make this broadcast, bring more people on. Again, we are trying to get 2 more people onto this show. It's a big deal. So please and thank you. If you guys don't know what the products are about, make sure to go to that Earthing movie. You can get it all at marfooglenews.com/earthing, and then make sure to use that code MH for free shipping. Again, it helps with inflammation, and that is the root cause of so many different things. So again, sleep, digestion, all sorts of things. And then, just so you know, all of the t-shirt proceeds are going to Cars for Heroes, which is a charity that actually gives to veterans that need transportation. We've been doing this for about a month. If you want to rep the Mafia and help a charity, again, 100% of these proceeds are going to that. So appreciate you guys supporting that charity. We want to do whatever we can for, Foogle Fam and veterans especially. marfooglenews.com/t-shirts to go to that store. And let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Again, this is the Truthware store. Boom, boom. Okay, and I think that's it. Okay, Dex, if you want to send over the first caller, we can get this going and make sure that Mike can hear them as well. And then Mike will keep you as long as you can here. But if you need to go, let us know.
Sounds good.
Okay, so first off, we have Deidre live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on, Deidre?
Adam, and I'm again calling from Salt Lake City. I was listening to you and Mike talk, and I wanted to mention it didn't seem like, I don't know, you guys didn't seem to know what was going on with the tunnels, and I just wanted to give you feedback, but I'm not sure where you're at in the conversation. Did he leave already? Because I kind of shut the program off.
He's here. Mike, can you hear the caller, or did that not work?
Yeah. No, I hear fine.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I can't hear him.
You can talk directly to Mike. Okay. Let's see. I don't think
It's okay. It's okay. I can talk. I was just letting him know, and and Dex know, that those tunnels are called maglovs, and apparently they started drilling under the Bellagio in, is it Las Vegas? Yeah, Las Vegas, the Bellagio Hotel. I guess it was a huge project there, and they had an underground parking that they could start from, and they had like thousands of people that were classified. They tried to block the project so people couldn't see what was going on, but they had a 3-day power outlet. I guess a power shortage there for 3 days. Have you seen that?
Now, Mike, have you seen what she's talking about?
No, I haven't. Like, usually I'm more on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear him.
That's okay.
Stuff. I just kind of.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, I just kind of.
The one issue we have is that she can't hear you, so when you're responding, ma'am, do you have a device you can actually turn the show audio on?
Yeah, I just remember Dex telling me if it's
I know.
it delays or something.
This is like the one absolute time where this is like actually needed, but no worries about that.
Okay.
I'll kind of relay here in a second. Mike, you were saying?
Yeah, I really don't know a whole lot about that. Like my thing is I pretty much stick to the weather stuff. I just talk about the cave that I have to go in because that's a pretty big cave. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't really get a lot of time to research into the other underground caves and stuff. So
the stuff that you are saying, Deidre, is pretty interesting, actually. Mike basically says he doesn't know much about it either. We will have to look into that. In fact, me and Dex are, I actually can see both of us are actually piqued by that.
Oh, I thought you're looking it up. Apparently there was a big, huge power outage. They couldn't explain what happened, but apparently they were digging the tunnels under the Bellagio, and that's when the tunnels, they hit a power line or something and shut down the whole hotel for like 3 days. And then they say these tunnels go all the way up to Colorado, and one tunnel goes up to Wendover, and then there's a couple of them that go down into New Mexico. But they have these high-tech shuttle systems that can go from point A to point B within a matter of minutes.
Really?
And they just call them maglovs. Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, this is all part of what we were talking about before with cosmic disclosure and all of that. So that's why I wanted to kind of connect the dots. And I was looking through the seasons trying to find the exact episode that was they were talking about, and I think it was season 7, episode 3 or something, where they're talking about those tunnels. So if you guys can ever get on there, they'll explain all of that. Okay,
well, we can actually make a note of that, Deidre. And then, yes, you just reminded me of your last call. I remember that. That was it was a very interesting call in that. Well, Mike's here. Is there any questions that you do have for him, as knowing that, kind of what he spends a lot of his time doing?
I'm not sure is he talking?
No. This is a question for you, Deidre. Is there any questions that you would like to ask him as far as Mike goes?
Well, I think my main question was, did he hear about these things? Because I know he knows a lot about those tunnels, and I just wanted to connect the dots and see if there was anything he heard, especially about the Bellagio incident, and if he's heard about the maglubs.
So he actually answered, and unfortunately, we're going to have to, every time, you know what's funny about these shows is a year and a half, every single improvement I've made is because of something that we found a problem with. So problem solution is how it kind of works around here. So I've never had this situation happen where now Mike can't hear you, but we've never done this before. So we're actually going to figure out a solution for that. But he said he does not know. He actually, the only thing he kind of knows about that is that he actually works in one. But he's wasn't aware of that, and neither were we. So actually, great call. Deidre, we're at time. Is there one more thing that you wanted to ask Mike? Anything weather related that he can answer on your way out?
Oh, well, I know about the HAARP stuff that he was talking about. But I was reading while you guys were talking, and it looks like they may have closed the HAARP Research Center up in Alaska that was doing investigative research on the atmosphere, and it was in conjunction with military. But I'm not sure if
so I'm going to ask him, and I'll relay it to you. Mike, have you heard of HAARP closing down, or at least?
Well, that they closed it down, but then they reopened it. I mean, it's still open, but see, HAARP is one of the most powerful ionospheric heaters, but there's 200-300 more taking its place all across the nations here, and there's one that they're building called the IceCat that is 100 million times more powerful than the HAARP facility. HAARP is old technology now; it's all space-based, but then you still have all the Arcebos. You got one down in Portugal, you got them in Peru, you got them in India, China, Russia. They're everywhere. And now even the new NextRad systems are actually omnidirectional phased array antennas, just like the HAARP is.
Okay, Mike. So I'm gonna reiterate that to her. I think I have almost a solution for the delay. Deidre, you can actually watch his answer there on, it's 20 seconds delayed. But for future, I'm just going to mute my show mic, and I'll just kind of, so then Mike won't be able to hear me, and I'll actually be able to just kind of hide behind my mic and tell the caller what he's saying, and then you guys won't be bothered by us both talking. But he said that that's only one place out of all of them, and I guess they close them and then they open them back up, and apparently they're opening up more HAARPs.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's interesting. I've been reading a lot about that, but I just wanted to let you know, Adam, I wanted to send you an episode, especially for the maglubs. I can just send it to your guys' email, and you would have 48 hours to watch it. It's off of Gaia directly, so I'll just send it to you.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. If you can send it to marfoogle@gmail.com in the next hour, then I can go back through and I can actually specifically spot it, because I've got thousands of emails. That one, if you go to that one, then it will be a little bit easier to get to. Well, thank you for calling in. I'm sorry?
It's not Marfoogle. It's not Marfoogle TV.
No.
Gmail.com.
Well, I'm actually, this one I'm telling you so I can actually find it. There's going to be thousands of emails in the other ones. If you do it to that one in the next hour, which I'm sure a few 50, 60 people are going to too, I can then search by time and find that after the show.
Okay.
I'd love to watch it, especially if it's free Gaia. Thank you, Deidre, for calling in. I appreciate you, okay?
Have a great day.
All right.
Bye, Mike.
All
Bye,
right.
Adam.
All right. Okay. So I have a solution for this. you're able to hear her, and then or whoever calls, and then I can mute my mic completely. So you guys might see me moving my lips, but you won't know what. And then Mike, you won't be distracted. If they ask you a question, I can just kind of, it's like a translator at the UN or something. 100th Monkey says, love your work bringing people together. Melinda Mowich, happy holidays to yous and to the Foogle Fam. Thank you. I appreciate that. Freddie Mentos, thank you for subscribing. All right, let's see here. Up next is JP. All right, JP,
Hello?
you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
What's going on, Marv? How you doing?
Good. So it says here, and I'm going to pull up your card. It says for Mike, underground dumbs. What's up with this?
Well, I was basically the tunnels that he's talking about and everything. I wanted to ask him if he's heard anything about the magma intrusions that if he's heard anything about magma intrusions into any of them.
Okay, so Mike's going to answer you right now, and I'm going to kind of translate for you. So, Mike, have you heard of magma intrusions?
No, but I know that magma is on the move. I mean, to me, when I'm thinking magma, I'm looking at all the fracking areas. I know that they're fracking into the side of Yellowstone. I covered an article a while back where they actually think they can pump water down into the magma and cool it down to keep a super volcano from going off. But no, I haven't heard anything about going into the cave bunkers. Maybe on the West Coast, but I don't know.
Okay,
They're all,
go ahead.
they're all linked, because if the subduction zones go, or the Cascadia, or any of those faults go, a lot of us believe that it's going to set off a chain reaction and set off the whole chain of volcanoes along the East Coast and, or down there along California, which will set off, Mount St. Helens, and then set off Yellowstone, which will set off, the other fault line, and so on and so on, and it'll just destroy the U.S. But Dutch Sense was even talking about it a little bit. But I was just wondering if he had heard of any of, like I said, the lava, because from what I had heard, that one area, that military base that was in Death Valley or whatever, that underneath there, the reason why they had to evacuate was because of magma intrusion into the base, and it destroyed all underneath the ground there.
Yeah,
and that was.
Are you talking about Ridgecrest there? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think from Mike's answer, it doesn't sound like I didn't hear that either. But I did talk about how people think that there is an actual super volcano underneath Ridgecrest, and that's part of the reason why they gave them that $100 million right away. Said that there was all this damage, but yet there wasn't visible damage.
It is a super volcano, and there's a caldera down there, and the magma, when that fault line ruptured that they didn't know was there, it pushed magma all in there and just destroyed most of the underground base. And that I got from my uncle, who's a colonel in the Air Force Base. Now, as far as I know, the majority of the underground part of that base, which goes down really deep, it was, just utterly destroyed, like billions of dollars in damage. Now, that could be a cover story, I don't know, but
no,
as far as I know, that's what.
That's actually that's pretty disturbing. Now, I'm gonna ask Mike something about that, and then I'm going to bring you back in, and then before we go. So
Okay.
just hold on one second.
And then there was just one last thing I wanted to bring up after that, and then I'll be done.
Okay, all right. I'll bring you right back in. I do have a question directly regarding what you're saying. So I'm going to mute you, and I'll bring you right back in. Okay, so Mike, as far as China Lake, the supervolcano, that is something that a lot of people have been reaching out to me about. I did have a military source saying that this is something that is being talked about right now. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's just crazy talk, or do you think that there's some reality to that?
No. In fact, I think a lot of the latest rounds of fires, a lot of them were PG&E and all that, but I think there's also gases coming up out of that area. I'm kind of in the same line as Dutch on that part. That's, I covered the Paradise Fire, and I could prove different things, that there was an explosion, with these latest rounds of fires, that wasn't going in, but there was a bunch of carbon monoxide that's been leaking out of that area. You got tar leaking up out of the area. That whole West Coast is volcanic, every bit of it, all the way up into Canada, all the way up into Alaska. And back in 2016, I showed a monster methane leak that happened. And people were getting sick from all the methane that was dumped out there. And it even got a response from NASA. And then I showed that the European model actually showed that it did happen, and NASA had to take the response down. So there's something definitely brewing underneath the West Coast. And then when you have all the fracking in there, you're just turning that crust into Swiss cheese. And it's only a matter of time before something breaks loose out there.
Wow. So, unfortunately, JP, you didn't hear that response. He definitely does believe about the something being underneath it, talking about NASA. I hope you watched that delayed version of it.
I will.
Okay, so as far as your last question for Mike Morales, why didn't you hit it there?
Okay, well, this next question isn't for him. The next question is the information from Dave Hodges. I don't know if you've ever watched his show or not.
Oh, yeah. And I like Dave Hodges.
Yeah, he's got quite a bit of good sources, and he was talking to some of his sources about 29 Palms and the Marines that were called up and stationed there. And he said that his sources told him that the reason why they were brought up was because of the family that got assassinated on the border, the Mormon family. Basically, what that was about was the president had basically told the president of Mexico, you either take care of this or we're coming in, and we're going to take care of it. And so the United Nations is over there, and it's the Chinese. And basically, there's a whole lot of Chinese United Nations over there sitting across our border, and they were looking for any reason for us to go over there so they could directly attack us militarily. And Trump didn't, take the bait and didn't attack. And he basically gave the president that ultimatum. And so the president went after people and basically arrested them and everything like that. Well, China's all pissed off about it, and they threatened a general from Mexico, and in Texas, they basically tried to do a hit on this general and chased him down and almost killed him. And this is actually, it was on the news in Texas. And so what's going on right now is we have an invasion force of Chinese UN troops over there on the border that want to enforce basically the NWO agenda policy of open borders on the U.S., and they're looking for any reason they can to basically attack us from our border, from our southern border.
Well, and I just gotta clarify, because this show depends on sticking around. That's a supposedly.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But no,
yeah,
and I have heard several things like that. And again, if you guys follow me on Twitter or soon to be, I'm going to be doing short videos on Instagram. I can talk about more about that. And then the D Live, I'm actually started building that last week, and I'm going to be on D Live talking about stuff. By the way, D Live is the worst platform to do stuff on from everyone I talk to. But again, even if there's 3 people watching, at least I'll be able to talk about what I want to without being censored. Again,
yeah.
What do you think?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
I saw the thing with the Mormon family and everything, and I think Dave Hodges has. I mean, I like the name of his show, Common Sense, and a lot of the time it is common sense stuff, and it's like it should be. Well, JP, we got to get the next caller on here.
One last thing to look up was there was also a Russian that was shot trying to cross the border yesterday. Just look that up.
Okay, I will. I'll be for sure to pull that up.
Adam. Okay, y'all have a good night, and thanks for having me.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for calling in. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right,
Bye.
Good night. All right, so did you hear about that, Mike, as far as the whole Common Sense show thing?
Yeah, I do watch him once in a while. Like his videos are pretty short, so I can usually catch, a little bit of his. Yeah, he's always got some kind of good information coming out of there.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, JP, for calling in. Up next, we've got Grace. I got to be careful on going over on times, otherwise that third person drops off. Lance Muir says Edmonds, Friday Harbor, and Muckawa. I don't know exactly what that means. 3 different ferry terminals. You are live on Marfoogle TV. Grace, what is going on?
Hi, Marf. I'm so excited, and thank you so much. Thank you and Dex and Mike and all the Foogle Fam for being here. Y'all are so great, and bless y'all.
Awesome. Thank you.
I had a question for Mike, because I was wondering about all the floods that we had here in the South earlier this year. And I was curious to know if he thought that this might be, that maybe likely it was caused by some rain enhancement agenda, because we've had heavy rains here for years and never experienced the historical flooding that we had. It was totally unusual, and I'm wondering, could that have been caused by some rain enhancement agenda, or what might be up with that, because that was not normal at all.
And then, okay, so Mike is going to answer you. I'm gonna try to translate this. Mike, did you hear her questioning here?
I didn't quite hear what area she was saying.
She said the South. What area are you in, by the way, Grace?
I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas, Mark. But we had historical flooding, and it came down from like Tennessee and the states above us, and it flooded all our rivers, and we had historical flooding. And they tried to say that it was caused by some, I forget the name that they used, rains. Well, we've had rains here for years and never seen anything like that.
Okay, so let me translate what he's going. So Mike, she's asking, do you think that there was rain enhancement as far as the historic flooding that we had last year that killed all the farms? Some farms never came back after that. We covered this. In fact,
That's right.
farms completely shut down. Family farms were killed, bankrupt. Mike, can you respond to that? And I'm going to mute my mic and tell her what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. I could respond to that. Yeah, definitely. If the whole thing goes back to the electromagnetic technology of steering the atmospheric river of the sky. Now, when they get these atmospheric rivers and they start pulling them up through the same area, and I've been putting a warning out about, how bad this winter is going to be if the atmospheric river keeps coming up through the Gulf of Mexico. And at the same time, you had the Texas Weather Modification Bureau. If you go to the Texas Driver's License Bureau, look up their weather modification. You can get a license for weather modification, but they did a community meeting on June 19th this year, and they explained how they were cloud seeding storms that were already thunderstorm warned. They were using electromagnetic rain-making technologies, and they admit that it causes 30 to 40% more rain per storm. And when you tally up all these rains that we were getting, they were 30 to 40% more rainfall, and they kept targeting the same areas. And it's going to continue to go that way until they do another big pattern change. But yeah, the atmospheric river is still coming up that way, but it depends on what kind of aerosols are being deployed, whether they're using a rain retardant or a rain enhancement. So yes, they were all engineered. You notice this is going on worldwide with the farmlands. If it wasn't the floods, it was the premature cold. I mean, the farmers have been targeted. I actually drove up to Omaha and took some video footage. Up in South Dakota, they purposely blew up a dam. There was a bunch of ice up there that actually started this flooding. The ice got so bad they used dynamite to blow the ice up. Well, then the ice went down and busted out another dam. So it kind of created a devastation all the way down. But then they kept hitting it with the atmospheric river. So yeah, this was another kind of attack. You take a look at the Paradise Fires. The Paradise Fires went on. California was in a drought. But soon as the fires were over, the bunker fuel operations started, and then all of a sudden it rained right over the Paradise area. They washed away all the evidence, completely documented. So yeah. I mean, we could be seeing super record snow amounts this year. So, I mean, that's something that I watch every day. I'm just watching till they get all the winds of the polar vortex up there, and I'll definitely be watching it.
Okay, and then he said that he's definitely going to be watching it. So, the whole time you were talking, I was trying to double it over to Grace. I don't know, Grace, I hope you heard most of that. But essentially, he says he's been documenting on his channel as far as the historic flooding goes. I hope you got most of that. But yeah, I think a good way to put that is you can go watch Mike, and I'm sure you probably have talked about that all last year, right? I mean, you probably have a bunch of videos on that. Correct, Mike?
Oh yeah. I went on the ground. I drove up there, documented the devastation, and I even sent out trying to find out where the farmers were. Why was there no country music stars out there doing raising money? I never got one email from a farmer let me know what happened to him. And I did go into a gas station up there, and FEMA was there, and they were handing checks out. They were buying the properties up. It's a bad deal. Yeah, you just have to go back and listen to some of them videos in that time frame.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring Grace back. Sorry, Grace, just because of how it's set up right now. By the way, you guys, I am technically barefoot. I literally sat here and got bit, and something was itchy, and I looked down, and of course there's nothing there. Then I look over, I literally see a spider about, out of reach. So I'm not going to go up and go kill it. It's already like in the crack, but I literally just saw the spider that bit me. Creepiest crap ever. Like, ugh. If you've ever been bit by a spider, usually you never see him. You guess it's a spider bite, or you guess it's something. I saw the damn spider. Ugh. Anyways.
Do you need to go take something?
No. No, you're good. It's a little house spider, so whatever it was, it's not poisonous. So, but Grace, did you get most of that? I mean, like, he's basically saying that is most definitely altered in some way. That rain enhancement did play a big part of it. He documented it, went there, had all sorts of things going on with FEMA and everything else. So again, you can also watch his response if you want to rewind, and we have live DVR or whatever. You can go back. But thank you for calling in. Do you have just a quick question you want to ask real quick before you go?
No, I'm so thankful for y'all, and that's just confirmation of what we already thought, and I'm sure we need to prepare for more. And just thank you so much for everything you do and being here and keeping us informed. I just found you in this last 6 months or a year, and I didn't know about him at all. I'm just so thankful that I found you and have the Marfoogle family, and I'm learning so much, and we just need to be more prepared.
That's
but
awesome.
It was very unreal and very scary. We were in part of the flood. I mean, I'm down here in the city now, but it was unbelievable what all happened here. And I feel so bad for the people who saw the farms that were so demonstrated that they are not back and may not be able to come back. And we thought, what's next? So thank you so much for being here and for answering that.
Absolutely. Grace, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. I hope you call back again. Thank you so much, and you have a great and wonderful night, okay?
You too, and thank you so much, and bless y'all, and bless Marfoogle Fam.
All right, well, thank you, and they say the same to you. All right.
And hey, Adam, I'm probably going to have to go here, but yeah, I just wanted to thank you and Dex and all your listeners for letting me jump on here and
absolutely
kind of help.
Is it
to work
now? Is it
what's going on?
Is it possible you could sit around for one call, one last call?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right, one sec here. I don't want to keep you long. I know you've been here tons. Okay, you are live on Marfoogle TV. This is Marcus.
Hey, Adam, Mike, Dex, fellow Foogles.
Okay, and then it says that here your question is via nations and theory getting people to take them.
Yes. So it's just a theory. I have no medical background, no scientific background, just trying to connect the dots like everybody else to figure out what's going on, right? So terms to get out there is BIO, hack, ING, and CRISPR. So before I do that, I want to preface it with the following information. So I don't think we give the government enough credit. I think that they're very good with manipulation, bait and switch, and it kind of seems like possibly they are playing a game of chess with us, and they are 12 steps ahead. So to kind of get into that, we feel like the government is looking to invade our privacy, and they want to do that, and they have effectively done that by the use of like smartphones, televisions, and the apps that are used with those, right? So before people thought, oh, they're listening to us, right? But now it's come out that they actually are. So that is one way. And how did they do that? So obviously they came out with the smartphone and the features of the smartphone with what they could do. You also have Facebook, right? And we know now with the latest, what would you call it, the bug, where you can move over the app and you can see that it's playing your recording, or it's showing your camera, right?
Yeah, we're all still here. Yeah.
Okay. So then you've also got devices like the Alexa and Siri and things like that, right? So they have figured out a way to access that information where if they come out and ask for it, we're not going to give it to them, right? But they put it into a way where when, these smartphones first came out, it was a big deal to get one. You finally did. Then these apps came out. And then with Facebook, it was just for college students when it first came out. So what did that do? It drove up the hype, right? And so everybody wanted to do it. Well, then, okay, we're going to open up to everybody. So they did. Everybody's sharing everything. They share when they get up in the morning, what they have for breakfast, what they eat for dinner, where they're going on vacation, where they're at right now, what they're doing in 5 minutes, right? So there's a lot of information that's out there that I think that the government has access to, right? So how does this tie into the nations? The thought is that they've openly, with various people, have stated that they are looking to have population control with those, right? And plenty of people have stated that. So obviously nobody wants to do that. So how would you achieve that so that people willingly do it, and they do it in the masses and they don't even realize it, just like with Facebook, right? So what you could do, this is where the biohacking comes into play, with where they could potentially inject whatever particular virus or whatever they want to use for particular meats. Say, I don't know, maybe the latest Popeye's chicken sandwich. And what have you effectively done there? Came out with it in the very beginning, and it was very short-lived where you couldn't get it, but they had enough celebrities and different people going on public forums and going on and on about how great it was, right? And then it disappears. So it drives up the hype. Everybody's got to have it. Lines crazy everywhere. 2 months later, they come back. I'm not saying that this has happened. I'm just saying that if you were looking for a way to inject that type of inoculant type substance to the masses, depending on which type of particular disease that you wanted to pass along, you could do that through meats. You could do that through possible drinks that people have, that this is the new latest and greatest. And so it's just the idea and a theory that that is a possibility that they could potentially look at, given the technology and everything they have at their disposal. So
Marcus, we reached time here, but I think you're definitely right. I mean, there's actually multiple different ways that they could come through and end up spreading things. As far as your theory goes, Mike, do you have any comments on that?
They actually are. If you look at all the nanoparticulates, they're now, I'm getting kind of tired now, so I can't think real good. But yeah, you got the nanoparticulates, you got the GMOs, you got all that stuff. So that stuff is floating around, and people don't even know it.
I totally agree with you, Mike, and I kept you way past your bedtime. As far as I'm going to pull Marcus back in right now. I'm going to say goodbye to him, and I want to thank him for coming on and sharing his theory. Let's see here. So, Marcus, I just wanted to let you know I got to get my my cherished guests off the show, and I appreciate you calling in. And of course, there's some people that agree with you. And, of course, people that are saying, hey, don't say that. They want to eat their Popeye's chicken without fear of catching any plague. So I get that.
Right on.
Oh, is this... We're not on to Bones, are we? Marcus?
No, this is Marcus.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good. Marcus, I want to thank you, and I would love to have you call in on a regular night, too, and kind of reiterate what you're talking about. That would be great. Thank you for calling in, okay?
You bet. Take it easy.
All right. Okay. So Mike, let me. I'm just gonna pull Bones on. Bones is one of my mods. I'm just gonna say bye to you guys both. Hold on here. Bones. I'm gonna let Mike. I'm gonna let Mike go home per se. Is there anything you want to say to him before he goes?
Well, I was at his work
Today?
I was in the exact cave that he was in. That video there's a picture that was sent over from Dex there.
Yeah, it's in the screener, Adam. There's a pic. It's same tunnels.
Yeah. So I pulled it up, and Bones is one of my longtime mods. He's a really great guy. He's a truck driver. You've probably been in a lot of these there, Bones. That's pretty awesome.
Well, when I was in there,
that's
I wasn't able to know in the back of the trailer, so.
Oh, so Bones just said he wasn't not allowed to know what he was hauling that time. So I'm gonna say bye to Mike, Bones, and I'm gonna bring you back in, okay?
Okie dokie.
Mike, thank you so freaking much. You stuck around for hours. I am gonna make that up to you. I really appreciate you. One thing you can do, and I'm serious this time, for real. He has been so gracious to come on. If you absolutely loved what you saw today here, this is Mike Morales' channel. This is the guest tonight. He does so much freaking work to expose all sorts of things. Head over here. I would love to see him at least at 68,000, let alone we have enough to get him to 69,000 or 70,000 by the end of tomorrow. Because I know you guys would love him. I'm sure there's a lot of you that just basically never got it suggested to you by this wonderful platform. So please head over right now and show love to him if you liked his channel. Okay, Mike, thank you so much, Mike.
Well, hey, man, thanks for helping me and reaching out to me. It was awesome being on here, and hopefully we get to talk again sometime.
So sorry to keep you so long.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm just starting to get too tired. Like, I just can't go on.
No. All of a sudden, we hear Mike Morales snoring. That would be great. That would be classic.
That's funny because that did happen to me back. I used to have a couple co-hosts, and one of them started snoring live on the air, and couldn't get them to wake up, man. It was pretty funny.
Oh,
but anyway,
my God.
hey, Adam, thanks. Much love out there, and much love to all the people out there that listen and help people spread the message. I mean, YouTube's never going to help any of us, so it's all up to us, man. We're all in this together. Never give in to fear. No fear. Just keep on fighting, and we'll keep on pushing. I mean, it's up to us. So anyway, guys, much love, and we'll catch you again.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. You have a wonderful night, and I can't wait to talk to you again. All right, and I will end up. I'll just click you out of here, and then if you want to just hang up on Skype, I'll just keep Dex over there on there. So, thank you so much again. Just absolutely, please, guys, go over there and show some support. I'm gonna refresh, see if we. I really hope that we can.
All right.
Help you out. All right. Have a good night.
All right, brother. Good night. Much love, everybody out there. Be safe.
All right. You too. All right, Bones, I'm going to pull you back in. And we did it. We got him to 68,000. That's awesome. All right.
That's sweet.
Okay. I hope it's by the day. I think that a lot of people watching this, especially the replay watchers, they're gonna see a lot of interesting stuff. So I really like I love the Foogle Fam just going and spreading love. So pretty awesome. Bones, that's awesome. But like for Mike, who doesn't know how like kosher and awesome you are, that might be a little creepy. Like, I was at your work today. I should do this. And then I should do this. Hold on.
It wasn't today though. It was actually last year. I think it was.
I was at your wait. I was. Why is it not doing it?
I was at your work last night.
That's creepy, isn't it? All right.
Uh-huh.
Let me pull this up. Bones, what is up with you, man? You've been your channel's doing good too. You've been starting stuff, and then you hit a milestone as well.
Yes, I did. And I want to say thank you to everybody that subscribed to me. And I do read all your comments. But I also have another thing there. The dash cam video that I took the other day, that had a little bit of purplish, pinkish in the clouds that I took.
I know. So if you guys don't understand why we're all why we're all talking about purple skies all of a sudden, one thing Mountain Man brought up is the fact that essentially purple in the sky, if you look at it through the UVA rays or UV rays, the more purple it is, the more ultraviolet it is. Or wait, what is the last one? If it's super purple, that means there's a lot of ultraviolet rays. Is that right? I'm not doing the thing.
Sure.
I'm not doing it right. I don't think am I right? Yeah. There's all the different gamma rays. That's what it was. The more gamma rays are in the sky, supposedly. That was the theory there. And there's actual graphs that show purple on the spectrum is more towards the gamma rays side. Now, I'm not an expert on any of that stuff, but there was actual official graphs and things, and I'm like, what the hell? But other than that, what have you been covering on your channel? I know that you had some dash cams. I'll show that video of your dash cams. It was like really, really crazy, beautiful purple sky.
Well, yeah, that was my test video, actually. I was trying to see if I could adjust the mic so everybody could hear what I was saying, but I'm at this moment I can't. So,
By the way, that's a cool dash
cam.
The truck
is so loud.
Everybody gave him compliments on how beautiful this looked, because there's a lot of small creators in the Foogle Fam, and everybody was like, "What the heck? How'd you get the colors out of that thing?" It was a Rexing dash cam, and the thing is actually you can control that with your phone, right? So it could be on the front of your truck.
Yep, I can
go up and down.
I can actually. Kind of funny when I'm at home. I can actually click on my phone and do stuff and watch the dash cam from my phone.
Oh, and I'm guessing it's parked outside of Mike Morales' house, right?
No.
I'm kidding. I was at your work. I would be like, hey, I'm not coming on that show again. All right, well. Well, Bones, you're awesome. Is there anything else that you feel? I know you are on top of the news. Seriously, is there anything else like over the last couple days that you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, because I made a deal with Vlad and everybody else that subscribed that if say, for instance, I got my 1,000, that I would post the picture, a recreation of Vlad's post. So if you actually want to go to my channel, I just now posted it.
Oh, dear Lord. It's not the 1,000. I need to go to your community page, don't I?
Yep. But you have to actually read the description of it too, though.
So a deal is a deal. This here is my recreation of Vlad Gruitz's community post for reaching my 1,000 subscriber goal. At Marfoogle TV, I challenge you to recreate this post when you reach 100,000K or 100K on Marfoogle TV. Oh, so you're saying that I have to post this same picture when I reach 100K. I think there's going to be
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of people that will say absolutely no. They do not want to see that. You are so serious. Like, this is like, holy moly. I am going to, this is never coming out of my brain. Never going to get that out of there. And just to make it even weirder.
Is the
Challenge accepted?
Yeah, but I think with a whole lot more bubbles. Now, if just to show you what we're talking about, this is Vlad Gruitz's channel. Let's see if he still even has it up. It was pretty far back. Sometimes it's just good to feel like a princess. Oh my God, I got a tiara. You guys are gonna start you guys are gonna start like one of those trends. Remember when everybody started pouring milk all on themselves, right? That was like the thing. It's gonna be grown hairy dudes doing bathroom tiara shots. Which, by the way, didn't you get that tiara sent to you by one of the other mods?
No, actually, my wife bought it.
Oh, that was very sweet of her. And when she was buying it, did she question her entire life choice?
No, she was actually quite happy to buy it.
She's like, I always knew it. He is my princess. Well, you guys are both awesome. I mean, it's the trucker thing to do, you know, get a tiara and take a bath with Sudsies, Bubsies. Well, now your bath picture is famous, so Bones, I think there's nothing more to say. I guess it's not really a challenge, but for that, I think I'll celebrate that. Challenge accepted. Only with way, way more bubbles. In fact, you might even just see the tiara. It will just be all bubbles with tiara. So, Bones, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You have anything else to say before you go?
Nothing other than you have a great night and tell the kids and the wife and the brand new baby, hi from me.
I will. They're not going to go anywhere near that photo, though. All right. You have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared.
You too.
And Marf out. Oh, no. He didn't get Bones out. I clicked the thingy. I triggered the bigger. Okay. Dex, man. Jeez, what a show.
Yeah. And I'm glad you accepted the challenge. That's fantastic. Everybody heard it. I noticed they wrote it down in the comments. It's been marked down in history. We've got it. And you got time to work.
I love
on
how
the
you're pointing out
if you want to compete.
I literally,
there.
I'm not even kidding you. The thing I was thinking about, I was like, I gotta work out. Like, we're at
Bones
90.
has got a 6-pack.
We're at 93.9 thousand, and the way that this platform has been in December 10th, I'm just hoping, watch, we'll get knocked off the platform before that, so I'll be safe. If you guys seriously, I hope that people stand up for us if we get knocked off. I really do. I hope everybody's going to be there for that. Amethyst Crystal, thank you from Australia. I appreciate that. Donating $5 Australian. Diane Holloman, thank you. $2 super chat. I appreciate that. And Amethyst Crystal again, only this time she said something. Make a calendar, guys. Oh, God. With the bath tiara pics of all the hairy men in the Foogle Fam. I think Bones is an awesome guy, too. You guys got to go check him out. Easiest channel to find. Bonez. Just Bones with the Z. Pretty easy. Yeah, and lots of new subscribers. In fact, I'm hoping we don't get any more that fast. At this point, But yeah, it looks like even Marfoogle TV is about to hit 94, I think. A bunch of... We hit 93, I think, sometime last week or something. This channel does a lot better than the other ones, but man, oh man, I tell you what. Cheesehead Cowboy just did a new video. They're actually showing me a recommended video from my subscriptions. Pretty freaking awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, 93.9. That's awesome. 2.6 thousand watching. You guys are amazing. Okay, Dex, love you, brother. Now it is the point where I can make a complete fool out of myself and sing songs of satisfaction during the outro. It's actually not an outro, and it's not a shout-out.
It's a shoutro.
So we're about to do that. We're going to play some music. We're going to have some fun and dip out of here. Make sure to go to marfooglenews.com and go to all of the links here. We're going to add some links. If there was anything that Mike went over during the show, we're going to add it there. There's also some stories here that we did not cover because obviously we didn't have time to. Make sure to go to marfooglenews.com. Up here at the top bar, by the way, is how you join all of the things that we end up having other places, including you can go to the Twitter at Marfoogle. We're going to be doing some fun things over on Twitter, including possible giveaway here soon. And then the Instagram at Marfoogle. Pretty easy to find either way. With that being said, it is going to be an awesome night. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope you guys have a great night. And I'm going to blow your ears out and or your phone. Good night. You just watch Marfoogle and Mike Morales. We've been talking all the way back to Dallas. Knee over our heads and they're spraying the aerosols. They gonna show you flat and bones balls. Lisa Jones, Pedro Cruz, and all the Earth Fly. Google Marfoogle for #1 news. Trinity red and blue, blue, high hole, coming to frog here. Uh-oh, it's time to go to marfooglenews.com. Oh, they walking there, coming McDonald Levesque. I'm about to go right in the chest. Amy Holly and the Deck Ape. Gotta get that post win with the casual preparedness. Mary Sharp and Lisa Jones. Gotta bring it right back now. Bones is getting naked in his bathroom tomes. And Ashley Marie wants to hang out with Shastina. Hey, Robin M. And old writer Ilian Arialalano. Gonna hang out with Mr. Bono. Hanging out with Watch Them No. Eggland Snyder and Johnny Day. Eggland Kerr with the Kirby and Caddy and Murphy's Law. J. Cooper 7. Hey, Bird Dog, Shauna May, Able Body, Nicky Nicky, Michelle Raven and Ashley Cam, Sally Nolan making me feel damn, Lisa R. Hall and One God, J Stone 78 and Mr. Pod. It'll change in a minute. CJ Blaze getting up in it. It adds a little paw. Just broke Lisa Jones' jaw. Shastina and the old rider skirts hurt. Everybody hanging out with Big Bergs, Big Ergs. Ah, save yourselves, people. Gonna bring you back. Hey, thanks, people, for coming in, hanging out with me. Stephanie C. and Barefoot Lass for your Tiara Fund.
For your Tiara Fund, Mr. Fable Lee, hanging with Lexi, John Rodriguez, MG Toe, Susie Q, and Mr. No, Zuma BC, and XJ, hanging out with Mrs. Lily May, crying hit back, hip back, rupture girl now, bring it hip back, gonna rim with that David Eagleton, gonna bring it now, we singlemen, all nowadays staying single men, taking pictures with bubble bath. That's just weird, yo. And Elizabeth Coles is so awesome.
Hallelujah. It's coming back around. Did you have fun tonight? I hope so. If you did, make sure to check out the next show. Every time there we go now. Kevin Smith on the go round. Hey, Jules, and bring you back with the hotspots and that chalky gal. Sandra Kay and the rest of them now. Hanging out with Deborah Clark and the bow. Crying hippie and dysuria. Hanging out now with diarrhea. Gonna go back cause some hysteria. That's right. Hello, Robert Johns. Thank you for coming tonight. Mary Sharp, Richard Borba, Angela Wagner, and Shauna May. Storm Watcher, I appreciate you, and I wish I could watch it. Shelbo Rose, Looking Up, Mr. Grumpy George Papa to Isaac, Angel Harris, Zane Crawford, and Southern Mercy. Sandra and the real truth. Make sure to check out Bones, Bonez, and Vlad Gruitz, and the rest of the awesome Foogle Fam. If remember clouds ought to go all the way down. Got that darling baby hanging back in the back with David Black. Got that barefoot lass, raps a girl now and Sally Tack. And Joe's numbers never meant to be there. Got the feeling I rest last, bring it in up right on back. Man, what do you say? Deborah clap you say. Emperor Rex got to go do what he do. The crazy Mexican El Michelle Smith man, Renee Thomas, Michelle Brayman, Susan Q and Carrie Van Camp. Oh damn, Robert Johns, James Kessler, bring it right back. No, these are wrestlers. Don't stop Did somebody say, is this a regular night again? There is no regular night. We saw you new, you don't need to say nothing to me. Accepted here. No fear, just love. Push each other up. Just push each other up. I like that 50 Shades of Human. Ashley Marie, I'm going to watch Mike videos. Now, bye-bye. Diane Holloman. I sure hope so. Oh, I forgot to remind you guys, make sure to head over to Mike Morales' channel. I'll pull it up one more time just to make sure you are all knowledgeable. I'm in it just to rewrite history. Oh, and by the way, make sure you go to marfooglenews.com. Is it really that hard? I don't think so. And every time that we walked down in the street, we all saw the same thing and it was all happening. We looked up in the sky, we saw the trails right behind the planes, and we knew that this is so lame. They popping this, they going to copping this, and they telling us that nothing is happening. But we all know that this is messed up, it's weather modification, and they ain't gonna hide it from us forever. They gonna hide it us forever. Gonna bring it right back now, the weather. They gonna hide us from it forever. From here to New York, back to Dallas. Go check out Mike Morales. All about that weather. They can't hide it from us forever. Now they say that we ain't doing nothing. They say, hey, HAARP is nothing. They say we shutting it down, and then they bring it back up. Then we have an earthquake, says something. Then we got Ridgecrest blowing up, 7.1 and a 6.4, yep. Biggest in decades, tearing it up. $100 million given to him in one day. Lava burning it up? We don't know. Now we about to be a bunch of riders, hanging out with Scaredy Cat and Glenda Snyder. I would sniffle, but I snarfle, cause I'm a Marf, and that's like Rebel Snarfle. Chastina and Richard Borba, hanging out. Oh, I gotta cut the quarter. Bring it right back and sound cut out like I'm in a quarter. They say I should get bronzed up before I get naked. Going and doing that mofo maybe. Maybe I should get some more bubbles, cover it up. Just a picture with the tiara on top. But that's if I make it to 100. Who knows with these rule changes on December 10th. Make sure to hit it up. And if we get kicked off, you write them. You never let them go. You go over check out all of our other channels. I see some new names, Kylie and Holly Asian, Kishora and Corshada. I don't know what that means, but I ain't hiding. Shastina and Elise, I like it. Sit down, read your time. You're listening to 104.4 K Mars, man. To all the new people in the moon. Let's go, zoom, zoom. Friends go, Sherry, Stally, Floyd, and the rest of the boys. Names and a body for me, one God. John Risa K and Mr. Make Pod in the positive channel. And the Cindy Claffey with the JF Mon. Hanging out with Mrs. Susan Wilson and the Rip Curl now hanging Jenna Marion. Hey, save yourselves, sheep-ball. You know good man. in here. Let me Sally. Yeah, man, you guys have a good night now. If you would like to support, man, you can, but I don't ask, man.
Dolphin in the sea, rolling in the waves, floating with the breeze. Got my sunny shades on, play my favorite song. Thankful for the charm, life rocking in my phone. I am looking for attention.
Hello, Rebecca Strockman. Thank you for going in the joiner.
Now don't bother with the haters.
I think that means thank you for joining.
I like me for me. I'ma be what I'ma be.
As always, if you subscribe during the show, you get a shout out, man.
I am who I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy, Wonder Woman identity. I like me for me. I like me for me. Head over heels, you know how that shit feels. You think it's out of space, but I know that it is real. Sipping Topo Chico, La Coco Puerto Rico. Lick it dance waterfall, anywhere that we go. I am looking for attention, I don't need the extra tension. Cause I'm in the fourth dimension, trapeze high in suspension. Y'all don't bother with the haters, cause they all be imitators. Real life manipulators, skip it back up and see you later. I like me for me.
Susie Q.
I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me.
Francisco.
I am who I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy, Wonder Woman identity. I like me for me. I like me for me.
You know, life is short, and it's definitely shorter for some of us. When I realized that it was time to be positive.
Nobody else. I like me for me. I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me. I am who I wanna be. I like me for me. I'ma be what I'ma be. I like me for me. I am who I wanna be. Don't need no apologies, just peace and serenity. No to the jealousy, Wonder Woman identity. I like me for me.
I just realized Rip Curl's name is actually Rest in Peace Curl. Maybe now he has straight hair.
Gotta prove it to myself. I like nobody. Gotta prove it to myself. I like me for me.
Have a good night, y'all.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to MarFoogleNews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle Fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the